Sorry, guys. It didn't auto transfer, but yeah, welcome to another episode of Second Guessing with Stressin. I am your host, Garrett Williams, aka Texans commenter, and yeah, I'm stressing, depressing. But yeah, no, I mean, obviously, not what any of us wanted nor expected to happen, losing to the Patriots. But it is what it is, and I mean, I've Sunday was real rough for me, but by the time I went to bed Sunday, I kind of processed it pretty well. Monday, pretty good terms with it, and throughout the week. But I do feel like you know, this is dumb to say this, but it's like the five stages of grief. I know that's like for serious stuff, but it's kind of like that, like mourning the loss of the season for the Texans. So I don't mean to like say that to disrespect anything else, but like I'm in a phase right now where I haven't like really faced it or hasn't really become real. Like I just know like on Sunday when the games come on, that's when I'll be like, damn, like this should be us. Like that's what I'm gonna be really stressing. So um but yeah, shout out the people on IG. We'll have a lot to get to, obviously, but let's see. We got comments coming in right now already off the rip. Shane Sci-Fi, shout out Shane. Shout out my guy Jacadon. DLive25, asked my job with the Texans. I don't know, man. I am not the Texans, but maybe check online. Just use Google. And let's see what else we got. Who else we got a comment from? YTC Rano. I can be a good offensive coach. Hey, a lot of us probably could be. B Epley, can we get rid of CJ now? Bum. Mac off. CJ gave away rods. We need to fire Kaylee. Still, I figured it might not be as bad, because I go Wednesdays at 9, that it might be a couple days post the loss. But hey, we're still stressing. Still off Ryan. I'm sad we might not be able to watch a defense that amazing for a while. So hopefully, if y'all stick with me, I can. I'm always the voice of reason, Mr. Positive, but have reasoning for it. Maybe I can kind of help bring some of you guys along with me where I'm at in this journey of getting over it and looking forward. Shout out Patriots Focus. Congrats on the win, brother. Rod says CJ needs to play like Brady to get that contract extension. Shane says David Mills better. His name's Davis, but I know what you're saying. B. Epley, can we get rid of CJ now? Rish Shalanka says I accepted the loss at halftime. Yeah, I mean, I didn't give up hope, dude. I mean, the game was not over. We had a chance to take the lead in that Woody Marks fumble. Jacadon, it pissed me off because Drake May didn't even play against us. Yep. Yeah. Rod says played like yeah. It's Jaden says should have put Mills in at halftime. Patriot Focus says CJ's a bust. Calm down now, bro. Calm down now. He is not a bust, and I wouldn't be banging my chest like Drake May did a bunch. I mean, Drake May has had 2 bad playoff games, and y'all have won. So I mean, I wouldn't be beating my chest like that, bro. Let's see here. And he's had multiple fumbles, 2 against us, at least 1 or 2 against the Chargers that don't get recovered, and one of them almost got scooped for a touchdown against us. So he's definitely a good quarterback, and so is CJ. And May made some throws and had some really good catches. All of his weapons were healthy and made outstanding catches. All 3 of the touchdowns were 4th and 1. Instead of being a turnover, the ball gets tipped, but not quite enough. Kalen Bullock jumps just a tick early. Pop Douglas catches it, touchdown. That's, at least 7 points there. The Stephon Diggs catch was insane. Like him holding on to that is a good throw. And then, a good throw to Kayshon Boutte, but an insane catch. Like we weren't getting that from ours. Like Stroud played terrible, yes, but his guys were dropping stuff, as some was as bad as some of the balls were. So, thought you were respectful, man, coming here and talking crap like that. And that's where I'm like, I don't know what I want to happen in this next game, because obviously Bo Nix was hurt. This was supposed to be like the easiest path for the Texans. Play the Patriots on the road, albeit, but great team. But we're all questioning the schedule and how good they are. But then CJ Stroud has by far the worst game in his life and one of the worst playoff performances we've seen in quite some time. And it's just so dumbfounding, like the stuff he was doing. But I'll get in more to that in a second on my thoughts on that. Texas says that the Patriots win the Super Bowl, blame the Texans. I mean, they could obviously. I think the Broncos. That'll be interesting to watch, man. I mean, who knows? I mean, Drake May's played a bunch of good defenses in the playoffs and hasn't done well, but they've still won. He's had fumbles, but he still made throws. We'll see. Sean Payton is an offensive mastermind. I think the game could be closer than people expect, and it would have been the same against us, honestly. And that's not to slight Bo Nix, but I mean, I feel like Peyton elevated Bo Nix too. The way that offense is, it gives him a lot of easy button throws, screens, and quick game. But anyhow, Stoloff Ryan says, "I'm sad we might not be able to go to watch a defense that amazing for the while." That's the biggest thing is that was a generational defense, and when the season ended and we didn't finish numbers allowed, which includes special teams points, but I was like, well, the chance to certify this defense is to make it run the playoffs, and we were off to a hot start against Pittsburgh. They were even just as good. Obviously, you gave up those 3 touchdowns, but I mean, we had 4 turnovers. One was a pick six. The other 3 were all 3 and outs. I'm sorry, 5 turnovers, and 4 of them were 3 and outs, or 3 of them were 3 and outs, and one we forced to fumble the play after. So the defense was on pace to hold up their end of the bargain to solidify themselves. It's just the offense didn't allow them to do it. So Chase Robinson, only QB to beat the Texans. Defense is I was so depressed. I took a whole week from work. I was high and drunk after the game. I feel you. But yeah, let me get to oh yeah, Patriots focus. Nah, yeah, I'm kidding. All right, bro. I knew you were a good dude. But no, Drake May is an impressive quarterback. I think I was high on Drake May coming out in the draft, saying he was the best in the draft, and listening to his pressers this week, and then just in general when I hear him, like very well spoken, smart quarterback, great mindset. So shout out Swarm 620. What do you think about CJ? I'll get to CJ in a minute. I'm not nearly tripping as most people. Boss Hog says stressing. Nash Shahid says still here, even though I am bummed out as fuck. Sorry, I'm trying to cuss him where I read that. But yeah, that's why I brought a beer today. So if any of y'all got a drink, it's kind of because we're depressing. These are leftover from the game. I was so damn nervous for that game that my lovely wife, I asked her to go to the gas station, give me some beer, because I was like freaking out, dude. I don't know about you in the game, the whole game, like my body, I was like, man, like this is intense. Like obviously we get amped and stressed for like normal Texans games, but this one was like, whew. And then obviously like things start going bad. You're just kind of like, shoo. But anyways, leftover beer. Figured I would, have a drink to console with you guys, but also just a cheers. It still is a great season, good season, fun season. I've enjoyed the ride with you guys. Thank all of you for tuning in along the way, whether it's on here or through content, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, wherever it's at. So if you got one, cheers. Yeah, nice little cold Corona. But let's see here. We got Boss Hogs. Defense is still young. Pretty much everyone's coming back. Hennessy Black says it's not the losing so much, it's how we lost. CJ sunk the ship and it hurt. Yep. Jay Robert says, "What's up, stressing? Can't wait to hear your take on our squad. I enjoy your commentary, by the way." I appreciate that, man, Jay. Yeah, so I'm gonna get through a couple more comments and try to, I guess, I'll definitely get into Stroud probably off the rip, and then maybe go into the game a little bit, and then maybe some insights or stats, and then maybe try to touch on some questions going into the off season. And I'll still, after this too, like I love the Texans. I'm reminded every year, you lose whenever it is in the playoffs, and an NFL starts like that. You got like Senior Bowl, which I'll be going to, by the way. I got credentialed to go to the Senior Bowl, so I'll go and watch and take videos. So chat about names, and I can do lives afterwards and report to you guys and what I observe. But yeah, I mean, off season is still fun for all of us, even though it's going to be a while for us to kind of get over it. But free agency, drafts, scouting, all that stuff. So, but yeah, so big DQ, I'm depressed, man. Yep, we're all depressing. Defense was gassed. That was, yeah. So those 3 touchdowns, I mean, they shut them out off of turnovers. But also on the flip side, it's like they can only do so much. And of course, they're going to have some plays. And evidently from D'Amico and Caserio, they kind of blamed the coverage for not being quite where they're supposed to be on those plays. But I mean, shoot, dude. Eventually you're going to, give up something. But yeah, so Jason Funtenberry says, "I get CJ didn't take Peyton 6 years to win a playoff game." Thank you for the voice of reason. I'll get to kind of my side on that. It said, but it took Peyton to win. Yeah. So, and CJ's already won, what, 2-4 or 1-2-3. Stroud disappointed severely. Yep. Absolutely. Big DQ. That was from Engineer. Big DQ. I was nervous for sure. Cheers, Swarm. Big DQ. The defense will be back together, but better than last year. They will, dude. That's like, I guess we'll kind of get into that as the offseason goes on. But I've had that initial early thought, like as good as they were this year, they're pretty much running it back with all the starters, maybe some more depth. You got more guys coming off injury like Jalen Smith. And obviously, you don't know, like we were pretty relatively healthy too this year, and you don't know how it'll be next year. But I mean, and that's why I've said, dude, like, and I've said it and I still say this, but like for sure, D'Amico, as long as D'Amico's here, we will always have an elite defense. And I still am a believer in Stroud. I'll get into that in a minute. But like I've always said, as long as you have D'Amico and Stroud, this team has a chance to compete. So, and Stroud's still young, third year, going on year 4. I'll get in just a moment. And let's see. Nosh says, hopefully next year we'll be talking about going to the AFC Championship game. Yeah, it just sucks because not only obviously we all wanted it, but D'Amico last year this time had his presser after losing second year in a row, divisional round, and like he was like pissed and frustrated, and was like, he basically said like, we're gonna try to go to the AFC Championship game next year. And all year, like they talked about putting a bull in a ring, being a Super Bowl team, but they've also talked about accomplishing all these firsts and going to our first AFC Championship game. And like they're all talking about, like, they knew what it was. All the players wanted it. They wanted it for the city. We all thought it was going to happen, and it didn't. But you know what a reminder is too is, and we've talked about it, after the first year of, losing the playoffs. And then we talked after this playoffs, we won the division the first 2 years, but our record wasn't great. So we were the 4th seed. And then this year we were the 5th seed. But you gotta, I've always, every year, we win a home playoff game. This year we won on the road, but then we go play on the road, Baltimore, Kansas City, cold environment, and you hear about all these elements. Oh, you're a dome team. Every year I'm like, oh, no, that's dumb. That's BS. It doesn't matter. And every year I'm like, oh, yeah, it does fucking matter. Like, as much as I hate to admit it, for whatever reason, for this team, maybe it's a young team, maybe Stroud is still learning. It takes time for the quarterback. But regardless, like, the elements are a factor for this team. Like, it should be less and less, which I think it is starting to be because of our defense being more and more dominant. But we need a run game, which I thought was doing well, which Pittsburgh made it look better than what it was, likely. And I think we had decent run games against not great interiors. But until we, but regardless, like, we're going to have to get by either the 1 seed or the 2 or 3 seed. We're going to need a home playoff game in the second round. So, you know what? I didn't even think about this, but if the Bills end up beating the Broncos, we play the Bills at home in RG, and there's a good chance we win that game. I didn't even think about that. I did not think about that. Like, I know a lot of people want, and we ended up playing New England instead because obviously the number 1 seed Broncos won, but like, holy cow, that is crazy. And to think too that not only did the Bills lose, but then now their head coach is fired. I didn't think, that's so crazy how that stuff shakes out. Like, maybe it just wasn't meant to be, but it's imperative. Like, so next year we'll have, not a first place schedule. It didn't win the division. So our schedule should be easier next year. And that's got to be the focus, bro. Like, if you want to like get yourself in the best position, then fucking take care of business in the regular season. You can't afford an 0-3 start. So obviously it was incredible they came back from 0-3. But since you started 0-3, 3-5, that didn't allow you the chance to get a higher seeding to potentially get a home game in the divisional round and avoid the cold weather that you were ass in. But, I will say, it's a new offense. It's the, they call it Earnhardt Perkins, which is like the New England Patriots mixed with the Rams, Caley offense. And it is very intricate in advance. I know people want to hear it. It's annoying, but that's the whole point of the offense, is empowering players. But like early on, especially, it really was taking a while to get clicking, and it costed us. It cost us those 3 games, at least 1 to 2 to 3 of those games. Out of those 5 games, it cost us potentially all 5, if not 3 of 5, at the minimum. And so I would assume next year, now, like they offense made strides throughout the year. CJ. And a big part of it too, and it was still a freaking problem in the playoffs, and I've been seeing it about halfway through the tape, is, to me, the receivers, like, they're now empowered to make decisions based off of, reads and leverage and coverage. And like all year, we're seeing CJ throw here and a guy go there, and it looks like a terrible pass. But then if you go down and look at it, it's like, well, this receiver's supposed to break here, and he broke there. And it's just stuff like that, dude. Like that got better and should be even better next year. And so obviously today, first D'Amico came out the other day with his first press conference post the season and said everything's up for review. I'm evaluating everything when asked about Nick Caley. And that was the same response he gave last year when he was asked about Bobby Slowick, which when I heard that, I was like, oh, no, he's just like saying generic stuff. And then lo and behold, he fired him. And I was like, oh, my God, he fired him. So I'm like sitting here now, like, I don't know. He may fire Caley. I don't know. And I'm honestly like on the fence. I've been a Caley supporter all year. A lot of people have been hating on him, and he's deserved a lot of the criticism. First-time play caller, hasn't been perfect, has some good, but has some bad, but kind of steadily makes improvements, but upward trajectory. Again, a complicated offense, first-time play caller. But then after this Patriots game, I did not like the game plan that he came in with. So I was like back down to like, all right, like one, I just trust D'Amico. If he fires him, cool. But, I was probably 60-40, like keep him as opposed to fire him. Before that, I was probably like 80-20. And obviously my biggest thing is you just spent all this time on task, investing all this time and energy and effort into this new system and are starting to get the ball rolling. And then now you just want to throw it out the door because of one bad playoff game. And so, but, or because, whatever it may have been the reasoning, but yeah, so you have a lot of invested into it. And so, but you should be better next year, like given the nature of the offense, hoping you improve in certain spots. But I kind of had a thought on that I kind of ran off of. I forgot, but yeah. So I mean, next year should be better. I'm sure I didn't finish a thought there. Sorry, it'll come back to me. Let me get a couple more comments. Joshua says been waiting for me to go live. What did you say? I don't know. Tell me what you said, Joshua. Joshua Tree, engineer. This team is not making it to a championship with Stroud. That was a disgraceful performance. I disagree. Abigail, I shared to you your IG a link for a comment on Aaron Wilson's YouTube podcast. He said New England knew the play calls Caley used, so they knew where CJ was throwing. He called it coaching malpractice. That does not surprise me. So I guess I'll get to Stroud in a second. Joshua, don't come in here. Are you a Patriots fan? I mean, calm down, dude. Don't act like y'all had some dominant performance. I mean, we had 5 turnovers and y'all still barely won the game. Let's see here. And then Nosh says one positive thing to look at is we have gained experience playing in the cold. Therefore, it shouldn't be too much of a negative factor going forward next season. Yeah. And so you had, Baltimore, and then you had KC. And then this year you won in KC, you won in Pittsburgh. The snaps were an issue in Pittsburgh, but I think that was getting overblown, my personal opinion. You keep hearing about 5 fumbles. Yeah, they were fucking snaps. Like, you running and then getting hit and fumbling, or you throwing, get your arm hit and fumbling is different than you having a ball go right here and not catch it or go over to your side. Like, it just kills me. Like, they show these stats, like, however many picks and 10 fumbles, which only so-and-so amount were recovered, but we're going to count all of them. And then half of them were just the snap, not here. So like, I hate that. That's like a bullshit ass fucking way to do it. So, but regardless, so, the Pittsburgh game, I thought CJ Stroud played relatively good besides the pick that was terrible. The 2 fumbles that were actual fumbles, I didn't really put on him per se, because he had to step up off of a frantic, snap and then got hit. And then the snaps, yes, that was bad. I think that was partly him, getting the yips and nervous or cold, probably the cold, probably needs to wear a glove. Part of it too is these young quarterbacks, like, it takes time to learn how to play in the cold. Like Drew Brees was terrible and it took time. I'm pretty sure Brady had to learn how to play in the cold. Manning had to learn how to play in the cold. That was Manning's thing. Like, they had to get home field, or if not, they went in to play in the cold and they lost every time, I'm pretty sure. Right. So, I mean, it's part of the evolution. Like, I think Mahomes has really skewed people's opinions, mine included, and perspectives on quarterbacks and expectations, that you can just do it right away and be the man. Like, Mahomes is an anomaly. He also has one of the best coaches of all time and one of the best defensive coordinators of all time around him to help him do that. But, so that's definitely a factor there too to keep in mind. But I mean, if you look at the game, so Pittsburgh, I thought was kind of overweighted, and that's what killed me too. Is like all the talk going in was like, if only Stroud doesn't turn over the ball, if only Stroud doesn't turn over the ball. And to me, I'm like, all right, y'all are tripping. Like he just didn't catch the snap. Like they'll correct that, which they did. They corrected the snap. There wasn't like any visible issues with the snap. But lo and behold, Stroud, who had not turned the ball over all year, we had the fewest amount of turnovers by an offense in Texans franchise history. Like he was doing a great job of not turning the ball over, and he's really been great his whole career with interceptions and fumbles. He has some bad decisions here and there, but he's not like a consistent, threat to turn the ball over. So to me, I did not see this coming at all. Like Stroud throwing 4 interceptions in the first half, missing guys left and right. I didn't see it coming. And to me, it was like a worst case scenario, but I'll also get to like, after the fact, there is some silver lining benefits to it. So that can come with this contract coming up. We'll get to that, but I'll just talk about Stroud first. With Stroud, so I'm still a believer in him. And, people say 2 bad playoff games. I basically just gave you my opinion on the first one. It's not as bad as people think. He still made a lot of plays. He had 2 or 3 bad plays, really, if that. It was mostly just the snaps and the fumble. But so he had a terrible game. I mean, he had the 4 picks. One was off Hutchinson's hands, so that's not on him. But he also had several others that could have been picks that were batted around. Like it could have been 8 picks, but I can't help but watching the film and watching the game. And I'm not here. I know people hate him right now. But I can't help but think that the weather was a major, major factor. And I know, yes, both teams played in it, but if you look at it, all of his picks were short, flat passes, which were flat routes. And he's late, so he's throwing it behind guys. And he's throwing ducks that are just wobbling. And if you've watched Stroud his whole career, he's never just wildly missed a 5-yard flat route pass. He's never done it. And so all of a sudden now people think he's inaccurate. It's because it's cold and the ball. And you know what? It wasn't because it was cold. And I'm pissed the hell off at the Texans. D'Amico, Caserio, Kaylee. They all week, every reporter, as they should, asked every player, coach, person they interviewed, hey, it's supposed to snow in New England. What are you guys going to do for it? Every single person, Matt Burke, every player, either one, downplayed it, like, oh, it's no big deal. You just play football. Like, yeah, it's whatever it is. And then more than half of them did not even know that snow was in the forecast. It wasn't even being talked about. Like Christian Kirk was on the Rich Eisen show, and he's like, oh, I didn't know. That's the first I heard of it. Like, how are they not fucking talking about the fucking weather all week in meetings? Like, that is a very big fucking deal. Very big. And so, 1, you talk about it. 2, obviously snow, it's colder and the snow, forms, it's mass, it's not straight liquid. It's easier to throw in those conditions. But when it's raining and sleeting, the ball is slick and wet. That is very hard to throw in. And guess what? It was warm in the first half because it's during the day at 3 p.m. And then in the second half, it gets cold and it snows. But we come out from the very beginning, the entire game plan is to throw the ball, to air it out. Not only air it out in sleet and wet conditions that you didn't practice for. You obviously didn't have a wet ball at practice to prepare with just in case. Oh, you can do that? Wow, crazy idea. Or, hey, CJ, wear a glove. Or even when it starts to happen, hey, wear a glove. But not only did you do that with the weather, you went into the game without Nico Collins. So you're still going to go with an aggressive passing attack as Xavier Hutchinson as your wide receiver too. Like, no disrespect to Hutch. Love him. Has stepped up, durable, dependable. But relying on him to beat guys on in breakers and get separation in those conditions against Christian Gonzalez, not a good fucking idea. He can't get fucking open like that. He can maybe give you some tough possession catches. Jaden Higgins played well. Christian Kirk was kind of a no-show. But then on top of that, you lose Schultz early in the game. Your leading receiver all year. And you continue to fucking air it out. And not only that, you continue to air it out. You have Jalen Knoll, who you drafted in the 3rd round, over an interior O-lineman who you could have used to address a need on the O-line, and you don't fucking play him. You don't play him. So, 1, you shouldn't be passing. 2, you're down a bunch of weapons. 3, you don't use a receiver who can help you and spread it out. And even Berrios wasn't in there. Like, what are you doing? So you're trying to throw option routes in the slot to Hutch. You're trying to throw the same, dig route to Hutch every play. And the thing, too, on a lot of these picks were the flat routes. Again, like I mentioned, the game plan, too. Okay, even on top of that, okay, you want to pass? Okay, here's the game plan. If you think about the weather, it's slick. Which passes are harder to throw? The deep balls aren't affected quite as much, and they're downfield, nor the intermediate. Like the ones that are really affected are the 5-yard flat routes where you're rolling out on the run, which I get is part of your play action boot, moving the pocket, but the ones where he has to throw with touch. And you can blame Stroud too for that. Like some of those he shouldn't be throwing with touch anyways. He should be zipping it in there. But the ones where he's rolling out and trying to throw with touch and it just comes out all weird. Those were like all of his picks. The one before half to Hutch, that was just a terrible decision, super late, but that was a little flat route. And then the one where the pick 6, freaking terrible. But that's also a cascade of disasters from your offensive line, interior line, just getting demolished. I think it might have been Ursery potentially, but their defensive tackle, I'm not sure if it was Milton Williams on that play or not, or Barmore, but they push our tackle back into our tight end who's motioning behind the line of scrimmage, which is now Harrison Bryant because Schultz is out, barely gets hit, trips and falls, supposed to be running into the flat. Now heads up play by the backer who's covering him. He's like, hey, he's down. Fuck it. I'm going to go rush Stroud. Rushes Stroud. Stroud makes a dumb decision. But I do kind of like get it. Like it probably got there quicker than he thought. Like it's easy for us to say, why the hell did you do that? But I mean, it happened so quick and he sees a guy open. He's trying to throw it and gets hit as he throws it. It pops up, pick 6. Shouldn't have thrown it. I need to look at the all 22, but like you could maybe ask, hey, dirt it. But it's not, obviously it's mostly on him, but you have to acknowledge the things I just pointed out. The guy getting beat, the tight end getting hit, the fucking play call from the OC running the same shit, but now running it with your backup tight end who's a klutz. There's a lot that goes into it. So, and then also from jump, we knew when the news came out that Trent Brown was out, I was like, this is not good. This is not good. And that speaks to Nick Caserio. Like if Trent Brown is the linchpin as to whether or not your offense and offensive line will have a good game, then you are fucked. That is not. So this goes back to his bullshit ass. And we talked about it and we kind of forgive him as they go through the year. They have good performance, bad performance, good performance. But really you look back at the season as far as O-line goes and the way they've played, it comes down to matchups. When they play a shitty defensive front, they do good. Fucking everybody does. When they play a good one, especially good interior, you look at the Denver Broncos, you look at the Seattle Seahawks, you look at the New England Patriots, you look at who else? The Rams. Like I saw a stat earlier from Next Gen Stats. Those are the 4 best pressure rates. That's not even mentioning run game too, but they're good. Like 4 of the best interiors in the league all kicked our ass because we have the worst interior in the league on the other side. And on top of that, we are a team whose identity is we want to run the ball up the middle. And you got shitty fucking personnel where your GM went into bargain barrel in free agency. I love these guys. They played well, but like Jake Andrews, like basically a rookie center who's like undersized and not really a mauler, did pretty good. Okay. Again, it probably comes down to who they were playing. And then, Caserio today comes out and says he played half the season like pretty much on one leg. Okay, cool. Like kudos to him. Tough guy. Love him. But like him on one leg is better than someone else at center. Like, so like, I don't know how to take that. Is that a good thing that you threw him out there hurt? Or should you put someone else out there? And I get that he came here because he's familiar with the system with Pop and knows all this stuff and technique, but like, come on, dude. I mean, and Ed Ingram, we hit on Ed Ingram. He was better than we expected. He's good in the run game, but terrible in pass pro. And then Titus moving to guard, saved our O-line because of Trent Brown, but now Trent Brown's out. So Titus goes to tackle. He's not doing good at tackle, hasn't played there in a while. And Patterson, not sure. I think he did okay, but now Patterson's playing left guard. It's a different O-line. But yeah, as soon as Trent Brown was out, we knew it was a disaster. We couldn't run the ball in the first half. So like you could counter argue with me. I'm mad about the game plan coming out to attack in the pass. It wasn't like we tried to run it early and then we decided to pass. Like if you watch the game, I went and counted the plays. Like it was like 2 runs to like 8 passes, 10 passes, like in our first 12 plays. Like it was heavily pass. Like that was our game plan, was to pass the ball. Our game plan was quick passing game. For an offense that all year is we're going to run the ball no matter what. Now you decide not to fucking do it when it's the shittiest fucking weather, when your defense is dominating on the other side of the ball and they're not getting shit. And literally all you have to do is just run the ball 3 times, 3 and out, punt it, play, let your defense get a fumble, get field position, kick a field goal. That's all you had to do. And okay, I can get, okay, you don't want to be, you can't, that's hindsight and you don't want to do it initially. But like, as soon as you see, Schultz is out, Stroud's struggling, like he's fucking up. Like, hey, it's sleeting right now. It's terrible conditions. You know what? It's going to snow later. Like, how do they not think like this? Like, I'm sitting there watching the game. I knew this. I'm like, oh, it's raining. Oh, but it's, and like, I'm just a fucking football fan, dude. And I'm saying this. And then later Aikman says like, yeah, no fucking shit. It's common sense. Like right now it's sleeting because it's warm outside. I saw the forecast earlier. It'll snow later. Yeah, that makes sense. It's going to get colder. Second half will snow. You should be able to grip the ball better. And lo and behold, it was, Stroud played much better in the second half, still had some iffy throws, but for the most part was much more accurate than the first half, which was a low bar. But that's what's frustrating to me is the game plan from Kaylee. And then on top of that, like, so people are arguing, yeah, well, you had 1 yard per carry, but, we had 4 yards per carry in the second half. So, I mean, that basically means you had like less than 1 in the first half. But the thing is, like, you still have to stick with it. Like a guy who says you have to stick with it all year doesn't stick with it. He didn't even give it a chance to go. And then when you do run the ball, you run it one with Woody Marks. Love Woody Marks, great back, but he's under fucking size and he's a rookie. And I don't think his vision's that great. Like all year, I've been complaining, like, bounce the fucking run outside, bounce it outside, cut it back, cut it here. It always goes right where it's supposed to and it gets fucking stuffed. And that's what happened. And we called every run right into the teeth of the defense, right into their badass tackles and Barmore and Milton Williams. Like, how fucking dumb are you? You literally run the ball, you don't run it, and then when you do, you run it right up the middle, and it gets blown up. And then when Chubb comes in the second half, he rips off like 2 7-yard runs in a row, and you take him the fuck out. He averaged 4 or 5 yards per carry. What the fuck are you doing, dude? I mean, it's just like common sense shit. I mean, I did not want to cuss today. I was doing good. I'm pissed off just talking about this. And then the other part of the run game too is we didn't run it outside. We ran 1 toss play and it got like fucking 10 yards. We didn't do it at all. There was 0 threat of outside run. Like, you have to mix it up. What about jet sweeps? What about these jet sweeps you see here and there with Xavier Hutchinson or whoever else? None of that fucking shit. It was just the simplest, most benign game plan. Super predictable. It was terrible, bro. And then on top of that too, so our passing had a lot of these bullshit flat routes for Stroud, and they're running cover 4 quarters pretty much every time. And so, yeah, that forces you to check it down into that. They forced us into those throws, and they took away the middle of the field. They ran 4 high safeties. We love to run in breakers, and they had the safeties over the top in the middle of the field, and they just ran down on them every fucking time. You're watching Stroud throw it, safety's right there, boom, almost a pick, and it's not really Stroud's fault. He's trying to force it. And then, he has to try and hit a check down, and then they have a spy on him sometime. He probably could have ran more on some, but there were times they had a spy. But the game plan is terrible. So, like, a team running cover 4, rushing 4, you run it right up the middle, can't get any rushing yards. Like, you're not doing any good. Like, where are the slants? Slants would have been killer. Running hitch routes would have been killer. And then as far as the run game too, like screens, we ran 1 fucking screen. We didn't run any screens all fucking year as far as halfback screens go, or even screens in general. Like all these quarterbacks that are, not pressured that much and have high completion percentage, like Bo Nix or Aaron Rodgers, like they're throwing fucking screens all day, dude. And so, yeah, you give them easy button plays. We didn't do that for Stroud at fucking all. And especially now you have defensive linemen that are getting in the backfield and over aggressive, run a fucking screen. We ran 1 and it was like 15, 20 yards. The Patriots ran like 12. Drake May had a great game, but almost half of his completions were dink and dunks. And guess what? They worked. And even when they don't work, you know what they do? They at least stall the defense the next time they rush. They hesitate just a little bit more. But we had 0 threat of the screen, so they just fucking teed off. And then also, too, on the aggressive nature of the tackles, if they're just getting upfield so aggressively, you can run other kinds of inside runs where you take advantage of that. They're called whams and traps. And we've seen them, like, where you let the tackle come in and he's right there, but then you bring a guy in motion, you either pull a guard and fucking crack him, or you use your tight end and fucking crack him. But we didn't do that. And if you do that, then you do that 1 or 2 times, they're like, oh shit, I got to slow down just a second because I might be getting set up. I might be getting hit. Oh shit, I got to slow down because they might throw a screen behind me. So Stroud played terrible. He played really bad. But Kaylee had a fucking terrible game. It was bullshit, dude. And so that needs to be highlighted as well. But yeah, so I don't know. I had another point to get to on that, but let me get a sip of beer for that. That's a good rant. So Hennessy, if we can get Kayla to be better, getting Davo or Mike McCarthy, someone. Yeah, I mean, they basically said they're going to run it back with Kaylee, which I'm fine with. I mean, I'm criticizing him, but he can get better from this. But you can, so same with Stroud, same with Kaylee. Like, I can rip these guys to shreds for this game and know that it's one game, and not mean that I want them fired or out of here. Same with Caserio. I can criticize him, but that doesn't mean I want any of these people fired. I'm frozen on my screen here, so I don't know if it'll come back. My face looks horrendous when it's frozen. Somebody please do not screenshot that. Okay, we're back. Yeah, 2 scores, barely winning. Yeah, dude, we were driving down the field and Stroud could have ran for a first down and we could have scored late to make it a 1-score game. Hutch drops the ball on a bomb to make it a 1-score game. So, I mean, come on, dude. You know the game was tight. Don't act like you're yeah. And so as far as like all quarterbacks, you know, DQ says Josh Allen played bad too. Facts. Justin Herbert last week played bad. Drake May didn't play great this week, didn't play great last week. Caleb Williams didn't play great either, but he makes, you know, a backyard football play at the end again, pulls it out of his ass just like he did the week before. He played bad against Green Bay and, you know, pulls one play out of his ass at the end. And then all of a sudden he still throws 3 picks. He's like, you know, this guy that's way better than Stroud. Like Bryce Young is talking about being better than Stroud because he had a good game here and there. Like, what are we doing, dude? I mean, Matthew Stafford didn't have a great game. Brock Purdy had a terrible game. There's been a shit ton of terrible games by quarterbacks in the playoffs. And you know what that means? There's a common theme. All the yards too. Like you're not seeing 5,000 yard passers. If you get 4,000 yards passing, I was like, oh damn, that's really good. Defenses are back. Like it's made a turn. Like this year, especially, like this is the year I think where it's like officially like defenses are back. Like quarterbacks are getting owned. So again, it goes back to my point about, you know, Mahomes kind of ruining, you know, people's patience. But someone talked about Peyton not winning till 6th year. Like perspective matters. Like I get in the moment, we just saw terrible and it looked bad. Like it looked terrible, but you still have to step back when it comes to Stroud and think about, do I want to worry about 1 out of 53 games and use that as my reasoning to say he sucks, or look at the other 52? And then there's a couple bad ones in there, but like you have to look at the total body of work. Like he didn't all of a sudden just start to fucking suck out of nowhere. Like the weather was a factor. The scheme was a factor. And I should say too, the Patriots are a factor. They're a damn good defense. I don't mean to go through all this. I know a lot of people, pundits, fans have been belittling the Patriots. And yes, Stroud lost the game, blew the game, and people are saying any quarterback wins that game. I think there are a handful that do. I think it's getting overblown. Or Lasky saying 31 other quarterbacks won that game. No, there aren't. When you say that, you have to remember, are you taking that quarterback and bringing their O-line and their OC and their running backs, or are you taking that quarterback and putting him in the same fucking elements as Stroud? That's the question. And so when it comes to, I forgot my thought on that, but yeah, just talking about perspective with Stroud, full picture. You know, you can't take this one game. I get it, we're in the moment, but I guarantee you, I was hard on him and I've already come off of it, but like I know who he is, bro. Like I've watched all these games, I've watched all the film from every game. Like he hasn't just lost it. Like, but there are fair criticisms too, though. Like I can't sit here and you know, and like a lot of the stuff that people are probably saying about him, like it's validated. Like I can't, but like my thing is like it's one game. Like has it sustained? And there's also this narrative like he's been bad all year. No, the fuck he hasn't, dude. Like he's been very good, highly efficient, didn't turn the ball over. He's like top 10 in EPA, like all the advanced stats and metrics. Just because he didn't throw for 5,000 yards or whatever, you know, doesn't mean that he wasn't good. Like he won a bunch of games. He matured and developed in the system, was playing smart football. And then people say, well, he never had a game-winning comeback drive because he never fucking had to. He never had to. There were no chances or opportunities to do it. And the ones that he had were early in the year was the Rams and fucking Dare fumbles. And then you have the Bucks. You do it, but then what's his face Henry misses the tackle, and then you get the ball back with no time left. And then the Jags. You're driving down there, Nico fumbles. Like, yeah, he throws the pick late and gets hit, but like there's other stuff that happens. So like he didn't really have. Those were the only chances he had to have game-winning drive. And he had game-winning drives his first 2 years. He's always been really good in the 2-minute drill, whether it's before the half or to end the game. So that narrative to me is off. But yeah, so I've been kind of rambling a lot, getting all my stuff off. So, but yeah, some people say here excuses, but yeah, Primo looks. We had 47 fucking pass attempts, 47 in a blizzard. And so to me, what pisses me off is Nick Caley is self-admittedly a game plan offense, which means that each week your offense changes to one, your opponent, but two, the environment and conditions. And guess where Caley was in 2021 as an assistant, I believe, tight ends coach, but he was on the staff in this game plan offense. He was on the Patriots in a game where they played the Bills in Buffalo with massive wind. And guess what? They threw the ball 3 fucking times. 3 times with Mac Jones, and they won. 3 times, and they won 14-10 because they knew, again, personnel, team different, more extreme weather. But like, you can't look at that example as Nick Caley and be like, hey, look at this extreme weather. We have extreme weather here. Our O-line sucks. Our defense is elite. The only thing that's going to lose the game is to turn the ball over. Let's fucking run the ball. Like, how do you not have that be your game plan? How is your game plan to come out throwing the ball? Like you're, outdoors, dude. Like, come on, dude. But yeah, I addressed the run game. The run game was terrible, but I addressed all the reasons why. So, but yeah, so Scott says what really gets me fired up about the game plan was all the throwing. That's why didn't they just run the ball a lot more? I was so mad. And then also too, like, there's a lot of the, let me get a sip real quick. A lot of the Mills talk. I think there is a valid argument. You could say that Mills potentially wins that game if he starts. But my rebuttal to that hypothetical is, one, we don't know for sure, but two, so how is D'Amico Ryan supposed to foresee this disastrous 4 interception game from Stroud to have the foresight to start Davis Mills over your franchise quarterback in the biggest game of y'all's career? So that's not even worth discussing. And then the second one is he should have been put in at halftime. I mean, Stroud was not terrible at halftime. If you go through the drives, let me pull them up real quick. We come out first drive the ball, settle for a field goal, but just 4th and 2. You could have fucking gone for that, D'Amico. I get taking the points there. I've preached that, but you can argue like, hey, you go for it there. And if you're going to go for it there, you change the play call prior to get it closer. Run the fucking Stover Cat there, dude. You got 4 or 5 yards of pop on the Stover Cat the 2 times you ran it. You need 2 yards. Run the fucking Stover Cat, dude. Like, what are you doing? Go score. Anyways, you get 3 there, but you drove the ball down the field because you ran the ball. In the second half, you pass in the first and then you run in the second. What the fuck, dude? And then after that, I believe we got a strip sack. And then I think we ended up, let me try to find, where's the damn Texans on here? Let's see, NFL, team scores. Sorry, let me pull it up so it's easier for me to say. But I'm talking about Stroud in the second half to counter the argument for Mills coming into the second half. So second half, first drive, 11 plays, 58 yards, field goal. You kick it on 4th and 2. We get a strip sack on their next drive. And then we get down to, so we're down 21-13, going into potentially tie the game on the New England 17, and then Woody Marks fumbles. So, I mean, that is a massive play. Like, we're going to blame Stroud. We got to put blame there too. And let's see here. And then they punt, and then we get a field goal. So, I mean, we have 3 scoring drives off the rip in the third. And the field goal was a 51-yarder. So now it's 21-16. You don't fumble with Woody Marks, it's 21-19. You potentially get a touchdown. You add 4 more points. That's 23-21. You go for it on 4th and 2 and score. You add 4 more points. That's 27-21. You're potentially winning. So, but then, eventually defense breaks. They give up a touchdown, 28-16. And then you get a 3-and-out punt. So, I mean, it does falter towards the end, but like once it became the multiple score lead again, it kind of made it tough. But like when it was a 1-score game, so I mean, I think there may be a small argument that Mills wins the second half, but like, and people don't like this point, but to me, this is the big point that I think about. What I'm telling my friends and family I'm watching with, like, no, you don't do that because of this. And this is D'Amico's thinking too, is you, and I know people bite back and say, screw it. Like, they're putting D'Amico, they're blaming him for not putting in Mills. 1, it's not guaranteed he wins. 2, Stroud didn't play as bad as he did in the first half and, made some good plays. But 3, you put in Mills, that's the end of the CJ Stroud era in Houston. I know people will say, well, F that. No, you can bounce back. Look at Bryce Young. Bryce Young was in year 2 when he got benched, and it wasn't the divisional playoff game on national television. And Bryce Young hadn't accomplished what CJ Stroud has accomplished. He wasn't the rookie of the year. He didn't win 3 playoff games already in his career, even if you want to try and, belittle those wins by Stroud and say it's all defense, which is not true. I mean, the Steelers game, I can hear on that, but the other ones, he definitely did his part on those. So, but that's what happens. I mean, so, and it's not about this moment to take a risk for something that doesn't even guarantee a win. I get it as a fan. I get it. But when you look, it depends on if it's easy to say as a fan, but when you're sitting there and you're him and you look at the big picture, you don't do that. And to me, as someone who knows who Stroud is, in my opinion, is he is legit and he is a franchise quarterback. And I've seen his body of work. And I think about that and not just this moment. And I think about the weather and I think about the play calling. I think about no Nico. I think about no Schultz. I think about no run game. I think about Woody being in there and not Chubb. I think about no Trent Brown. I'm like, no, you don't do that. Because, it, and people can say, well, Stroud should be, tough enough he needed it to do that. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, in this era of football, this dude's played 3 full seasons. He's a proven franchise quarterback. There's no coming back from that. So that's my big argument to that. But yeah, so missing a lot of the comments. I appreciate you guys getting the comments in. I might have to, if I miss anything good, I might have to get to some. So, Grafa screenshotted. Oh shit, I'm a meme. But yeah, Stroud played bad. Nothing you can do except accept it and laugh. Like, getting absolutely fucking torched online, dude. Our quarterback's getting memed to death. And I'm not sitting here giving my opinion. I'm in the minority, I believe, now as far as backing and supporting Stroud. Which is fine. Like, I get it, but I'm not trying to sit here and say, again, my opinion's right, you're wrong. Like, who knows? Maybe I'm the dumbass and I'm wrong, but that's what I believe. I gave you all the details why. So, if you disagree with me, I'm not trying to say, and we're all like, we're passionate, right? So like, I have like my brother, like he was like mad at me that I didn't agree that Stroud sucked. And then just like we're all doing, he's like, well, look at Caleb, he's doing that, he's better. I'm like, I don't think so. And he's like, he thinks I'm like, it's hard to have the conversation because we're just so like you're an idiot, he sucks. I'm like, you're an idiot, he doesn't suck, but we're just passionate. But I think I could be totally wrong, but based off of what I've seen from him, big picture, this is one little deal, all those factors. But that being said, now that can parlay into the future, right? So I do think there is some silver lining to if the Texans were never going to win the Super Bowl this year, which it turns out they probably weren't because Stroud played bad and lost the game, yes. But what also helped us lose that game was our interior offensive line, which we knew was an issue, which our O-line played better than what most of us expected. I thought they would play good, but it was masked for a couple things. And the biggest thing was scheme. And so Kaylee did a hell of a job this year in the fact that quick passing game and making quick decisions was at an all-time high. You could see it in day one in training camp. He's emphasizing it. First read, boom. Like, guys are getting the ball out. Stroud throwing the ball away. Same with Mills when he came in, like time to throw super quick. So, guys are getting beat in pass pro, but the ball is out so quick that it doesn't matter, just like Aaron Rodgers. So that's part of why the offense sucks, because you have no time. But the sacks are down, the pressure rates are down. So you have to kind of look at the whole picture. So they were better in that regard, but they really were, like, if you look at ESPN block rate, they're like bottom of the league in pass block. But then pressure rate, they're like top 10. Like, they don't allow a lot of pressure. Sacks were like top 10 because the ball is out. You're getting beat, but before you can get to the quarterback, the ball's gone. But then that's part of the problem too, I think, with Stroud is because of this philosophy to get the ball out super fucking fast, because our O-line sucks, because Caserio bargain barrel shopped and didn't draft or sign any guys. We had to throw the ball quick. So, like, it's been drilled into their brains all year. Don't hold on to the fucking ball or you will get hit. And so his internal clock, yes, is sped up from 1, getting hit in years past and this year, but 2, mostly his internal clock is sped up because it's been fucking drilled into his head to be the reason to negate the pressure. So it can work, but then that's when you can start to see fucking terrible decisions like, oh, ball, fucking throw it. Like, no. So that's part of it too. So you can tell that's a concerted effort. So if we are able to fix the interior line, you can now next year dial back that urgency overall drilled into your guys, like, hey, quick, but not, you still got time. So I think that's something to factor in. I forgot what the point was coming from that, talking about the O-line pressure. Yeah, so the O-line looked better than what it had been. And in the run game, it's been ass all year, but they had some decent games against other bad D-lines. So, but yeah, so I'm talking about Stroud and his contract, I believe, right, going forward. And so, man, let me take a sip. Kind of lost my thought on that one. But yeah, so those factors should be considered. Oh, so there is a silver lining. There's a silver lining as to how we lost the game. And I was going to say, if we were never going to make the Super Bowl, then you might as well have had a catastrophic loss like that where Stroud looked worse than what he actually is what I believe. Some people think he's actually that bad. I don't think he's actually that bad. But so right now it's like Stroud's the worst quarterback in football. Like, is like what everyone thinks, but that's going to help you. Now it comes at a time where he's due for an extension. He's been in the league for 3 years. He has 1 year left on his rookie deal, which is like 11.5 million, fucking steal. And then now you have the ability to exercise a 5th-year option because he is a number 1 draft pick, first-round draft pick, number 2 overall, which would come in, I believe, at like 25, 26, 26 million. Again, that's a fucking steal. I know a lot of people are down on Stroud, but she's a Stroud at 26 million when you got like Geno Smith at 40. I forget the list. I had a list of all these quarterbacks that are above that. It's a damn good number. Kyler Murray, 40 million. So Stroud at that number. And so you are eligible to exercise that 5th-year option to lock in an extra year of control at that number, which is based off of, whatever, but it's around the 25 million. I forget the exact number. So people are saying, don't even exercise it. No, you exercise that fucking 5th-year option. It's not even a question. It's not a question. Like, even if you personally think he's fucking terrible, most other people, most other franchises think that CJ Stroud is worth more than $25 million. So at the very least, you helped yourself. So now you have leverage as far as going into negotiate with Stroud. But if you're the organization, in my opinion, what you would want to do is try not to extend him this year. Exercise the 5th-year option. So now he's got 2 years left, and you try to say, hey, play it out this 4th year. You have 1 year left. Next spring, we'll talk about your extension if you show improvement. That would make the most financial sense. That would give the franchise a lot of flexibility. Let's just say that all the haters are right and Stroud is ass all of a sudden and keeps sucking and does terrible next year and is a bust. You can now trade him. He has trade value. Or even if he does okay and you still don't want him, you can trade him. No matter how bad he does, he's still going to be worth that 1 year on that deal. Whereas if you don't exercise the 5th-year option, he's a free agent. He just can leave. So like it doesn't work on either end. Like he could ball out and you don't have the 5th-year option, then you don't have him on your team. Now he's gone. Now he's going to go get, let's just say he has an MVP year next year and you don't exercise the 5th-year option, he's now a $70 million quarterback on the market or something crazy, So, I mean, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just pointing out like the 5th-year option is a no-brainer. But then the next question is, I think that's what the organization should do. But I've come to the realization, and I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this and hate this. But watching D'Amico after the game, CJ after the game, D'Amico saying he talked to him at halftime, he believes in him, he's our guy. And then after the game, he's our guy. And then Stroud talking about when he talked to him. And ever since day one on their visit, he said, if you come here, I got your back no matter what. I'll always support you. Him sticking by him, not taking him out of the game, even though people want it to happen. CJ Stroud the next day with the media, he's still confident. Like, it's funny, like when someone does bad, it's easy to hate on them. Everything they say is fucking dumb. But like through all the ups and downs where he's had bad moments, good moments, like specifically in this instance, in the bad moments, he'll have press conferences and he'll come out and be like, no, I'm confident. Like, I feel good. And people are like, oh, what a fucking idiot. Like, no, dude, like you want that. You don't want a quarterback to play bad. Like, oh man, I suck. Like, even though the whole persona that he has, exterior body language of the sideline, people think that's what he's doing. But then they get mad when he goes on the podium. He's like, I thought I played pretty good. I know who I am. I'm good. Like, and he's like, and they're like, well, what? You should be pouting. Like, so it's kind of funny that little juxtaposition. Like on the sidelines, they think he's pouting, but then in the podium after a bad game, he's being confident. Like, why the fuck are you confident? Like, well, I mean, that's kind of hypocritical. So, but that being said, like he was asked about the extension. He's like, it is what it is. Basically said it's in God's hands. But he's like, I put in the work, and he's like, I've done things in my first 3 years that a lot of quarterbacks haven't. He's fucking right. And he's like, so I hear that. I'm like, he's right. Like, he's not looking at this one game and thinking I fucking suck. And this one game just devalues everything that happened before. Like sample sizes, this little bit or this, which one are you going to go off of? You're going to go off of the big fucking sample, especially for the Texans. Like they see the practice, they see him in the locker room, all that stuff. So I saw that. And then today with Caserio, he was asked about it. He was specifically asked about the specific topic. Does this one bad game or two bad games affect how you look at a potential extension? And he's like, well, he had one game against the Chiefs where he fucking won it. And he's like, we can go by the one game moniker wherever you want. It's just, this is the most recent. It's the playoffs. So all of us want to say this is it. So he basically said, like, he tells you, like, and then he says, like, I'm going to look at the whole body of work instead of one game. And he says, I do that for everybody. And then on top of that, everyone's unique. So I hear that. I hear Stroud. I hear D'Amico. I'm like, yeah, this is, it's tough because we're fans. We're emotional and we see and hear stuff. But you have to look at them and be like, but this is what they're saying and doing. And just because we're fans and we're mad and we don't like what they're saying doesn't mean what they're saying is wrong or dumb. It's actually pretty damn rational. So hearing that, and I kind of realized, like, yeah, like I've been saying the same thing too. Like, I'm not tripping off. Like I said, this whole thing to defend him, like, I'm not tripping off of one game. Like, Justin Herbert threw 4 picks against us in the playoffs last year. Okay. Did he get any shit for that? I mean, I know we want to say, well, it's worse this way, they're worse that way. Stroud had like a 25 grade on PFF. Herbert had a 25 grade on PFF last week against the Patriots, same fucking defense. Like, that defense is really fucking good. So that's a part of it too. But that being said, like, the silver lining is you can do the 5th-year option, not extend him. But I think the bigger silver lining is, and a lot of people won't agree because y'all think he sucks, but I still think he's good. I think you can get him at a discount right now. If you do the first option, 5th-year option, and make him play it out this year and then renew next year, and he balls out, you're going to pay a fucking premium. Time value of money. Now everything's gone up. All these other guys are getting deals. The market's even higher, another year. Or you know who he is and you pay him now more than what the public thinks he's worth, and everyone's going to laugh. Oh, you paid him fucking 50, whatever, or whatever it is, and he's not worth that. He had that one game. He's terrible. And then he has a good year next year. He goes next year into a schedule against, a second place schedule instead of a first place schedule. He has a second year in the same offense with Nick Caley that empowers him, where not only he is learning to develop in it with, getting the calls and audibles and all that, but also his receivers are finally getting it down. He's also now getting Tank Dell back, albeit he may not be 100%, but still, a version of Tank Dell could be great. You hope Jalen Noel starts to get mixed in. Potentially Joe Mixon. If not, you're probably going to get a running back. You're probably going to upgrade your interior O-line. So All those things considered, he should have a better year. And if he should have a better year, it's better to pay him now than to wait to do it. And that's my take, my opinion. So I think he probably will get an extension. I'm starting to lean that way. I think they will extend him, and people are going to lose their shit, and I'm going to like it. I mean, it depends on the amount, obviously, but I think it's the wise approach. And then you look at the history of Caserio and how he does business. All these rookie deals, like I just explained, you can get extensions as soon as there are 2 years left on the deal. I'm sorry, 1 year. And he's always early to do it. Derek Stingley, that first year, exercise option, added the extension. Nico Collins, same thing. Jalen Petrie, same thing. And all those guys, except for Stingley, like Nico and Petrie, were highly questioned by a lot of people. Oh, I don't know if we should extend him. He should prove, like Nico, like, oh, he needs to prove it another year. The Nico one is pretty similar to Stroud besides being a quarterback and a receiver. But like, to me, I saw Nico and I knew he was a fucking baller. Like, I watched the tape. I'm like, this dude is good. And people are like, well, yeah, it's only 1 year. Like, he needs to prove it again. Like, is he just going to all of a sudden start fucking sucking out of nowhere? Like, no. Like, once someone shows you what they can do, that's pretty much the floor, especially when you're a young player. Like, if you're old and you start to fall off the cliff, maybe. But, like, Stroud, like, he's not, a lot of talk about regression. He regressed in that playoff game, but, like, he had a good year. He had a great rookie year and kind of had up and down second year. And then this year started off low, and he progressed this year, despite what many people think, because he didn't have the crazy stats. So that should be factored in as well. And then as Kaylee, like, that was a topic about bringing him back. Again, I was 60-40. It sounds like they're bringing him back, but, I wouldn't have been opposed to bringing in certain guys. But yeah, y'all just been listening to me rant the whole time. That's pretty cool. Y'all are commenting, even though it's just me talking to myself. Might need to get another beer, but man, y'all are popping off. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, I would say Will Anderson Jr. absolutely is priority number one, and you extend him first. Pause. Will Anderson Jr. is for we're talking about crazy stats, TD passes. Guess where the Texans ranked in points per game this year? Go look it up and come back to me. As terrible as that fucking offense was, go look up where they ranked, and where they ranked as a franchise in points per game. They were 13th in the league in points per game on offense. As bad as all that shit was, they were 13th in the league, and they had the highest scoring points per game in Texans franchise history. Like, what the fuck are we doing, dude? We're going to cherry pick shit, talk about touchdowns being a stat. How about fucking points per game? How about fucking wins? Like, what the fuck are we doing, dude? And yes, Fairbairn is responsible for that. But, like, yes, you have red zone struggles. But, I mean, you're obviously moving the ball. And it's the way you play. Like, it's, you play conservative. Like, we don't go for fourth down. So, anyhow. But, yeah, so Mulligetta is his agent, too. So, I think the other element, too, for C.J. Stroud in the contract extension, yes, Mulligetta. Y'all think he's going to go in there and let them use this one game to shit him down? Like, no. But the other factor is, and people might disagree with this, too, but the other point about the contract extension is if you don't, or if you draw it out and you make it this big thing, like we've seen them happen before with Lamar, and look how that turned out. Like, there was discontent, like ever since Lamar had his contract and there was all this mudslinging back and forth, like he didn't really seem like he was happy. And Harbaugh gets fired eventually, so you risk a lot of damage. And I know people's like the mindset is like, we'll just suck it up and play. But like, that shit matters, dude. Like, if you make it harder than what it needs to be because you're worried about $1 million here, $1 million there, it's not worth it. And you know what? Nick Caserio has shown and even said in multiple interviews that his philosophy is like, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth all the strain and stress to piss someone off or have them less motivated to play because you just, because like, those negotiations, like, is literally like you talk to the agent, like, yeah, well, this guy, no, he fucking sucks. He sucks here. He sucks there. You literally like talk shit about the player you're trying to pay money to devalue them, and the more you do that, the more they're like, well, fuck you, dude. Like, you think I'm this, like, all right, and then I just won't do it. Or if I do it, like, I'm not going to be fully in it. So that is definitely a factor too, is like, and then like, an example of Caserio doing that, and I didn't really necessarily agree with, I guess I kind of did, but now I'm kind of critical of it. But like the Stephon Diggs trade. You trade the second-round pick for Stephon Diggs. Has a 2-year deal at, I forget the amount, but 2 years a pretty good cost-controlled value. And because you want him to come in on good terms and play motivated, you rip the fucking deal up that is very advantageous to you guys because we could have had him this year. Instead, he's on the Patriots and beat us in the fucking divisional round. You tear it up and you give him a 1-year deal and give him more APY than what he had to make him a free agent the next year just so he's happy. So like that, if he's doing that for someone he traded for a 1-year deal, he's going to, give the player in CJ the deal he wants more so than the deal that they want to get. That's my analysis on what he will do. And I don't necessarily disagree with it. You don't want to overdo it, but again, that also is rooted off of my belief in him. I'm not saying anyone who disagrees is wrong or whatever. Like, if you think he's not the guy, then yeah, I wouldn't like it. But that's what I think will happen, and I won't be upset with it. We'll see what the number is, but I could also see the best option scenario again would be the 5th-year option, him play it out, but I don't know if he'll do that. Yeah, you definitely extend Will Anderson Jr. And then Crooked says that Woody fumble hurt. Great run versus Pitt. Yeah, and he's a running back who has promise, still needs to develop, but I just can't stand how we don't bounce out runs, any runs outside. If I missed any good comments or questions, I know there's been a lot. If you're on Instagram, it's hard for me to get there. Put it over in the chat on Facebook, YouTube, or X. It'll populate on here and come on the screen for me. But yeah, I think what I might do is just, hour and 7 minutes straight of me rambling once again. Maybe give my voice a rest and maybe play some clips for you that might pertain to some of the topics we just discussed. I think that might be a good idea. Let's see here. Let me scroll down, try to find some good clips. There should be a lot of stuff to talk about. But yeah, appreciate all you guys. Love you guys. It's been a fun season. Still can't believe it's over. Like I said earlier in the show, it's really going to hit me on Sunday when I'm sitting there. I'm like, fuck, dude, this could be us. Should have been us. But y'all right. I agree. Stroud sold. He's sold, man. It ultimately comes down to Stroud. He lost the game. There's no denying or arguing that he lost the game. It sucks. Let me see. I'm trying to share my screen. Let's see here. All right. And let's see if we can't find some clips to talk about. Keep going a little bit. Try to get to a good point to where kind of start from the bottom and go to the top. Keep scrolling. What? I'm so white, huh? All right, let's see here. Almost there. The way I'm talking sounds weird. Sounds like a bedroom encounter. Almost there. Okay, I'll stop. I won't stop scrolling, but I'll stop saying all that stuff. Yeah. And so the touchdown we had in the game, this was a backbreaker, dude. The Woody Marks touchdown. We finally had a good cut, good vision, good blocks. Tommy Togiai at fullback. I know people are scrutinizing the call because they called an illegal shift, but if you watch it right here, he false starts. And to save the false start, he puts the hand down. See that? He flinches, falls forward. Oh, and he's like, oh, no, just kidding. I'm putting my hand down. But it should have been a false start. They didn't catch that. But you can't move if you're set. He's set in a 2-point stance. He moves to a 3-point stance while Schultz is motioning. So it's just bad execution, bad luck, anxious, antsy. I mean, I don't hate that Togiai was in there, but obviously he wasn't ready for the moment. Bad coaching, bad execution. That's fucking 4 points right there, boys. I mean, and yeah, I mean, they made a bunch of big plays and we didn't. They definitely deserved the win. They earned it. And that's on top of obviously, Stroud playing terrible and giving them a lot of, but what's crazy is they didn't really score off any of those except for the pick six, which that's 7. But I do think even though we stopped them after all those other turnovers is the fact that it eventually wears on the defense though, even though you stop them. So, man, a lot of stuff we're scrolling through here. So, yeah, so this is when it all started. As soon as as soon as ESPN NFL Live all picked us, which I don't know how or why, that screwed us, man. It really screwed us. Yeah, and so Black Lion says next year wide receiver room X, Nico, Z, Tank, H, Higgins. I think Tank should be our slot. I think, I haven't gotten a free agent yet. We can do that here. We can do it on another show. But I think you let Kirk walk. And I think you move Tank to the slot, dude. Tank to me has always been a slot build, but he's unique for his frame to still be able to be the outside Z receiver. But I think you put Tank in the slot, dude, especially in this offense with option routes. And not only that, option routes in the slot in this offense, a lot of it is you have to be on the same page with your quarterback. And you know who has the best chemistry with CJ Stroud? Talking about scramble plays. I roll out. I don't have to point. You just know to run this way or that way. I know where you're going. You know where I'm going. Put him in the slot and let him fucking go to work, bro. And he's tough. He can make tough contested catches. Put Tank in the slot. Yeah, so let's get to some of the clips. All right, right after the game, here's D'Amico Ryans.
No, CJ's our guy. I believe that he could come back out in the second half and flip it. I believe that he could play better. And he did that in the second half. He did play better. We had some positive drives there in the second half, because I believe that he would do that, and he did that. And as I always tell our guys at halftime, it doesn't matter what happened in the first half. You have to flush it, remove it, and you just have to go out and finish the right way. And I told you, we've been there before. We've been in situations much more dire than this, and we were able to bounce back. So, in my mind, there was no doubt in my mind that we would be able to overcome that.
I know people don't like hearing this, but we're lucky to have D'Amico, man. To me, this is a true leader, bro. It's not easy to go and do this and stand by your guys and not make some brash decision. This will go a long way. I know in the moment it sucks, but I'm confident this team will be right back in the same place next year. I'm confident D'Amico and CJ will lead us to where we want to go. I believe they will give us a Super Bowl at some point in time in the next 5 years, whatever it may be. And we'll look back at this moment and be like, thank goodness D'Amico stood firm. That's truly my belief. I know a lot of people might not believe me in the moment. I could be way wrong, but that's firmly what I believe. And I love that he is a leader, bro. Some people look at it like he's a dumbass. I think this is good. So this was D'Amico, his message to Stroud at halftime.
Your head up, I love you. I got your back. And that's what I told him at halftime. This whole team has your back. We're in this thing together from day one. It doesn't change for me. We have a really special group, a tight-knit group. When things don't go your way, you have bad performances. It's not a time to point fingers or say it's on one person. If anybody, it all starts with me. For me, as the head coach of this team, we didn't perform well. Obviously, I didn't have our guys, ready to go in this moment. So that starts with me.
Leadership, dude. People call it coach speak, but he means it. But yeah, Black Lion says Higgins was good in the slot in college. Yeah, you can mix it. I just don't know how that equates to slot in this offense, but maybe they can adjust to it. But just because we talk about positions, I'm a stickler for that, but you don't line up in that position all the time. Higgins was in the slot a decent amount this year and made plays. So, anyhow, yeah. So updates, from Caserio today. I thought Schultz's injury was very bad, but it sounds like it's not as bad. Should be fine is what it sounds like. Same with Stover, that he might be back in the offseason. Tank Dell will be back in the offseason. We finally got some clarity on Joe Mixon. I'll play the clips here in a bit, but it's basically clarity, but not clarity. And then let's see here. And then, I will say this on Stroud. The sideline looks. I used to kind of think that people that would talk about him moping and his body language and him not yelling was overblown. But I will admit to say that y'all are valid in those criticisms. Especially it's super bad when you lose, obviously. And so it is weird to me. I don't know and let me know what y'all think. I don't know if he changed personalities, but like to me, I feel like he's always been like this. He's just like too chill, even kill. I think he's like has fire internally, but you don't see it externally. Obviously, you know, you see stuff going around like Brady, you know, yelling at guys, or even Peyton. Or I was trying to think about this, like, were there any great quarterbacks that like that weren't fiery guys that yelled at guys? But like Brady obviously was fiery. I think Peyton's even fiery. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers can be an asshole if need, or is an asshole and needs to be an asshole. I think Drew Brees kind of has that fire too. We've never really seen him do that. And, you know, I just think that this is his personality, but like, I don't know if he did that as a rookie. I think we saw him more animated as a rookie, potentially because he was just happy because the vibes were better. And I do get that, you know, it's harder to be upbeat if you're playing bad or the team's bad, but we're also winning. So, I mean, there's legit criticism, concern there. But then the only example of a quarterback that I could think of that like wasn't a rah-rah guy is Eli Manning. You know, he's kind of a dope and won 2 Super Bowls. You know, wasn't the best overall quarterback, but won 2 Super Bowls. And, you know, if Stroud's Eli Manning, I guess we'll take it. But yeah, so let me know. My guy, Tony Floyd, who else in the hood? My boy Floyd. My boy Floyd hates Kaylee, hates Stroud. I get it. You got valid criticisms. He's been on Stroud. I've been telling him he's tripping. Stroud had a bad game. He's vindicated. Master King Josh says, hey. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Eli wasn't fiery, but that's the only guy I can think of. So my question is like, was he fiery before? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. And 2, which non-fiery quarterbacks have won? And then 3, can you develop that? I don't think so. But maybe that's part of, you know, he's a young guy. He wants to earn respect before he starts to, you know, be in your face. But I think part of it too is like, that's just the way he is. And like, fuck it. Like, I think that can be a con, but you work around it and maybe he has to make up for it elsewhere. But that also brings up a greater point too. Like that's where and a lot of people have said this, like that's where we really, really missed. That's where we really missed, Joe Mixon and Stephon Diggs. Like, and I'm watching the mic'd up for the Patriots. Diggs on that sideline, like yelling. We don't have that on offense, bro. Like Stroud's chill, Nico's chill, Hutch is chill, Higgins is chill, Noel is chill, Kirk is chill. I mean, Titus is chill. Like we have no fucking like person who will yell at motherfuckers, dude. Like, so like we need that shit. Like we need an Aziz on offense. And you know, we pretty much got a bunch of chill dudes, but we need some motherfuckers to light a fire under their ass. Like Stephon Diggs might have made a difference, obviously, on the field for us play-wise, but he might have snapped Stroud out of some shit or us out of some shit. And then so, man. But that also brings up another point that a lot of people have pointed out that is worth mentioning is, you know, having a veteran presence, which would be like Case Keenum was there. Maybe he's not like in your face guy, but maybe he's there to be like, hey man, like you're good. Maybe Mills is doing that, but sorry. Obviously Keenum, you know, had that veteran presence, and obviously you got coaches, but like, or even the coaches, like is Kaylee that guy? Like Kaylee's a nice guy, right? Maybe Slolik was like that and he got fired because he didn't like it. Is Jerry Shaplinski like that? I know Cole Popovich is. But I mean, and people, you know, the criticisms of people saying that, you know, Stroud is coddled, like I get it, you know, like I don't hate that D'Amico's come up here and getting his back. But you know, I can't really push back too much on that notion. Like it does feel like he's coddled. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but Crooked and Steep said, you know, your coach makes up for it. That's true. So I don't know if Kaylee's doing that. Like maybe D'Amico has to start doing that. Maybe he is and we don't see it. But D'Amico leads in a respectful manner too. He's a player's coach. He can be aggressive, but he's not just going to be like fucking Bill O'Brien. I was even thinking, dude, I've been thinking about all this shit all week. Like always have. Like I was wondering, like Bill O'Brien might be good for Stroud, bro. Like if you had a guy like Bill O'Brien's like, hey man, wake the fuck up, dude. Quit fucking pouting. Get your, like, you kind of wonder about that. Like, obviously, I know we hate Bill O'Brien, but he was a good OC. But like if he had like Bill O'Brien was doing that shit to Brady and it worked, right? Like he would challenge him, he would get in his face. But maybe Stroud doesn't respond to that. I don't know, dude. But we, at the very least, I think we can all agree we need like a dog, fiery presence on offense. And again, as you know, Hennessy Black said, Seth mentioned doing leadership training. Maybe he can develop it. Sports psychologist, he should be seeing a sports psychologist if he isn't already. I feel like every athlete, especially in the NFL, dude, every athlete, NFL athletes, dude, especially in today's day and age, like Stroud had a terrible game. If he did that 10, 15 years ago, it's a fucking afterthought. Like Brady had games like that in the playoffs. All these great quarterbacks had bad performances. But because now we're in this social media age, you're on national television, like it's like almost like it's not good for that person's mental health. D'Amico's telling them, block it out, don't listen, but like it's going to come back to you. Like, I don't know how y'all are, but like if I get made fun of in any setting, like the most minimal, like, you know, my feelings are hurt. Could you imagine? And people are like, well, fuck you. You're an NFL quarterback. You're getting paid millions. Like, yeah, but you don't sign up to be, you know, just getting flooded by everybody and people that are below you just talking shit about you like they're above you. Like, I mean, so in that regard, a sports psychologist is like, it's got to be mandatory for all these players, in my opinion. If I was a coach or an organization, I would have an on-staff sports psychologist. They probably do, and it would be mandatory just from that aspect alone. But then also from like in the game, like maybe we are right suspecting that he's in his head. Maybe he was, you know, mentally whatever. Maybe it snowballed, no pun intended, but like maybe he froze up, no pun intended. And maybe he needs to talk to sports psychologists and talk to him like, hey, when this happens, like it sounds, you know, non-masculine, but like there's a lot of value in that. And I think the way today's world is, like there's no shame in it. And things have come a long way. So hopefully he's doing it. He definitely should do it. I mean, we could all benefit ourselves personally from therapy in general, but you know, sports psychology definitely would be something that he should do. So Big DQ says Brady and Peyton had the same game their third year. Look it up. Exactly. So, but you know what? No one fucking knows because there wasn't the fucking internet, dude. And that's what, like, and again, it's like we're prisoners of the moment. Like, oh, he sucks. He sucks. He sucks. Like, dude, they're both highly drafted like these guys. They both had a pretty good resume before then. One game does not define you. And, you know, the thing about Stroud is, and D'Amico talks about this all the time, is what drew him to him was how mature and tough he is, mentally tough he is. He talks about it all the time. You know, at Ohio State, how he basically already went through all this shit at Ohio State. And CJ references it all the time. Every time this shit happens, like, I've been through this. One second they hate you, the next they love you. I was at Ohio State. You know, I've been like the worst. And he got it worse at Ohio State until now, as far as getting dogged on. So, like, and he came through the fucking fire, dude. Like, not everyone's built for that shit. Like, I wouldn't be built for that shit. If I had people talking about, like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, I'll be the backup. Like, stop making fun of me, you know? I mean, I'm not saying that, but like it takes a special, and we all laugh at him when he has these pressers and like he acts like he's unfazed, like, oh yeah, idiot, like, oh, you look at this dumbass, he's still confident and he's still cocky, like he should know he sucks. Like he's at where he's at for a reason, and this isn't the first time. Like he always says that he's had a bad moment, and it won't be the last. But it's not, you know, if he was someone that would cave into this shit, he wouldn't be where he's at. He's not going to all of a sudden be mentally weak and let all the pressure and outside noise fold him. And so this can be a career-defining offseason for him. And it sucks the way it ended, but I guess now I'm just thinking it sucks for like us as fans and like me personally, selfishly, because now I have to listen to all these narratives, and rightfully so, they're justified about how he sucks and this and that. I mean, to an extent. And it's gonna be all offseason, like Stroud sucks, Stroud sucks, Stroud sucks, Stroud sucks, and it's gonna be annoying as fuck. But, you know, it should drive Stroud, and it shouldn't take this to drive him. And that's not, he probably was driven before, but like now it's like, it's all on the table, bro. So, I mean, if there was anything in the past off seasons as far as training, mindset, if you were lacking 1%, 10%, whatever it was, he should be at 100%. He should be at 120% this year. And so and I think he was last year, and I think he did better than people think. But like now, it's even more so. So it could be a good thing in the long term for him to have this moment to fuel him, to make him lock the fuck in, to be humble, which he's gotten better at since his rookie year. And then to y'all's point, like talking about Brady and Peyton had the same years. I guarantee you, if you go talk to those guys and say, what was like the defining moment in your career? It's probably the game where they had a fucking shitty game. Everyone told them they sucked and they went in and fucking grinded and made it out through the fire, dude. And that molded them to who they are. So I guarantee you that's part of it. So let's see. But yeah, I mean, he did get some happy feet. So I think part of that is like long term, you know, uh, not trusting his line, which I don't blame him. And I do think a big part that no one's talking about is just the mindset because the O line sucks worse than we think. That the point is, hey, get the ball out in 2.5 seconds. And it's been drilled into his brain. And so if it's not there, he freaks out. But like as soon as you get a run game, no fucking run game, bro. As soon as you get a run game, now you get not always third and longs. And now you get play actions that are much more effective. And now you get an O line on the interior that can block for more than 2 seconds. Guess what? You'll get some confidence, dude. Like, and it can come back quickly. It's not just gonna go away. Like, it's not like because I don't think he's broken at all. But I mean, he has had moments. I can't lie. Like, he's had moments where he looks skittish in the pocket, but I think they're for the reason I just stated. So, but yeah. So, let's see here. Yeah, and someone said on IG, Jay Cruz, 3 years, 3 playoff more wins than Dak. But then, yeah, haters like, well, his defense won. Fuck that, dude. I mean, he did plenty in all those games to win. Let's see. And then here's Stroud after the game. I don't know if I played this or not.
I mean, yeah, I got hit, but I mean that happens every game. So I mean, it didn't really affect it. I just, probably just try to shake it to get some blood flow back in it, but it didn't really affect it in many ways.
And that was his hand. He hurt his hand too. I know I'm making excuses, but early in the game he hit his hand and he's like shaking it. So I mean, it's an excuse, but like that's likely. Like if you think about it, like okay, played terrible, weather, like just add that in there too. But don't like say it's the sole reason, but like okay, that's a factor. And yes, everyone plays with it, but who knows? Maybe it was worse than we thought. And then here he is about him talking about D'Amico talking to him.
I remember, not feeling the best, and for him to come up and say that, means a lot. I remember coming up on my 30 visit when I was, just about to get drafted. I was 20 years old, young, wet behind the ears, and he told me no matter if you come on this team, no matter what happens, I'm gonna always have love for you, and I'm always gonna be there for you. So, for him to say that in that moment really means a lot. And not only just him, but a lot of my teammates did that, and coaches and loved ones. So I just really appreciative of that. That support really helps me because I know I get the other side of it as well. Where I get so and I'm well deserved of all of it. I don't shy away from good or bad. I'm gonna keep my chest up, my chin high, regardless.
And people will see like, oh, he's still being confident. What a bitch! Like, yeah, he's supposed to be confident, bro. And what's funny too is, like on the valid criticisms for like sideline stuff, it's also carried over into the presser. But like to me, like you can't like this tone of voice, like just being whatever. I don't criticize him for being calm and talking he's not emotional at the presser. And I saw Shady McCoy on Speakeasy. I enjoy their show. They got, whether you agree or disagree, that they're good commentary. And he was talking about the body language, which I agree, like the fire, the sideline. But then they talking about like they were talking about like the presser, like look at Josh Allen, show his presser. Look, he's fucking crying. Look at Stroud, he's not crying. You got to cry. Like what? They're mad that he didn't cry in the presser. But then last year when he cries when Tank gets hurt, then he gets shit on. Like it's just I don't know why, but like Stroud just gets it worse than anybody. I know, the podcast tour, him being cocky, I guess that's a big reason why. And then the Caleb Williams thing, which kind of gets overblown, is a big reason why. So it's just crazy, man. And then, all of his teammates, Jalen Petrie right here has his back.
Yeah, like I mean, it's just tough. It's just tough. Our whole team, we all didn't do enough to win this game today. It was no way on just CJ. It was on Jalen Petrie. It was on the defense. It was on CJ. It was on the offense line. It was on everybody, included coaches. Like we got to figure out a way to get that win, and no way was that on CJ.
Petrie didn't have his best game. He kind of got cooked a couple times. And yeah, and how old is Stroud too? Like he's young, dude. He's like the same age as Carson Beck, I believe. Like, he's younger than his class. And this was crazy to me. He got asked if he considered taking himself out of the game. Is that a serious question?
On the idea of pulling you and putting James Mills in.
No, ma'am. I don't think that's smart on my part to get myself out.
I mean, for him to respond like that, I'd be like, what? Did you just ask me if I thought about taking myself out of the game? Like, who do you think I am? Like, you think I'm that soft? Like, the disrespect is crazy, bro.
The game. I don't think my coach would ever do that either. But if he did, I would understand. But I think my whole team trusts me. They believe in me. Today, it just wasn't my day. I believe in myself. Regardless of what happens on the field, I'm going to continue.
How can you watch that and not like the answer? Like, he's still confident, dude. Like, he just had the worst day of his life. And he's like, I believe in myself, dude. Like, that's not delusion. That's, like, mature, But yeah, and then his answer too, like he says, if they wanted to do it, that's fine with me. Like that was a great answer to a crazy question. And then Hutch, same thing, dude. And he didn't have a great game either.
Quarterbacks in the league. And on that, and I believe that.
Best quarterback and one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
It wasn't the best game for a lot of us, man. But that's just how the ball goes sometimes. There is no picking up. I mean, sure, he's already there. He knows what he can do. It's all about us, just playing ball and
one game.
Really just capitalizing on it.
Shout out JJ Moses in the chat. My guy JJ.
There's no need to pick him up. CJ's one of the best quarterbacks.
We'll have to get you on soon again, JJ. Y'all but yeah, he's been on the show. Hope you're doing good, JJ. Going back through here, let's see what else we got. Yeah, McDermott getting fired to me is crazy. Harbaugh, all these teams firing. Shout out JJ, he said, let's go. All these teams firing these coaches, man, like firing Sean McDermott, firing John Harbaugh. Like, that just blows my mind. Let's see here. And just going to go back through, see if we can find a clip real quick for some audio for you guys. Yeah, and Jalen Noel not playing to me is crazy. And here's Aziz, all these players getting CJ's back.
Last year it was me. Last year I was hurt. Both of my knees were hurting. I gave up a touchdown. Dude standing.
That's a leader. He's saying last year I was the guy at the bad game, the linebacker, but no one talked about it because he's a linebacker. But he did have a bad game and kind of cost us the game. But he was hurting too.
Over me, taunting me. I played terrible. And so I know exactly what it feels like to feel like you let the team down. I mean, I remember sitting in the locker room in Kansas City, literally saying that to the whole team. Like, I couldn't look nobody in the face. So, for me, I know what that pain and things are like. But at the end of the day, I told CJ already, it's just the work. Like, just put the work in. Don't forget the feeling, because let it fuel you to where you want to go moving forward for this next season. But that's what it's about, man. Just putting the work in and just putting your head down and just blocking out the noise and just correcting what you feel like you need to get better.
Aziz is such a good dude. That's a leader right there. I know people see that like, oh, like, why are you saying that? Like, he's just saying that. Like, he means that, dude. Yeah, and this meme here, dude. Caleb Williams, 5 interceptions in 2 playoff games. Oh, you're sweet. CJ Stroud, 5 interceptions in 2 playoff games. Hello, human resources. Exactly, dude. The hypocrisy is crazy. But yeah, kind of going back through. I mean, again, interior D-line killed our interior O-line. And then Will Anderson Jr. is just the 4th player in NFL history to record at least 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in a postseason. Will went off, bro. Will went off. So did Daniil. Let me get to some more clips. Yeah, and here's Stroud had 5 interceptions, 5 fumbles. Again, 3 of those were snaps. So, 2 fumbles. May, 2 interceptions, 6. We're doing fumbles. They're gross. 2 interceptions, 6 fumbles. Caleb Williams, 5 interceptions, 1 fumble. Purdy, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. Allen, 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles. Like, come on, dude. Like, yes, he had the worst game, but they all played bad. And, yeah, we will get to the next one, which will be still scrolling. We got D'Amico. This is the next day on CJ Stroud's season.
Yeah, look, the quarterback position is going to get, the most eyes, most attention. We understand that. And in this league, that's what it is. And CJ understands that as well. I thought just throughout the season, I thought he did a really nice job. of coming in, learning new offense, new scheme. Thought he picked it up well. We got better as the season went along, and he made some plays to allow us to win a lot of football games as well. So I'm not gonna let the bad plays there in that game, really for me dictate to me who CJ is. I know who CJ is. I know what he's capable of doing, and so we just keep looking to get better. No one feels worse about the situation than CJ, right? He feels bad, for the team. I feel like he let the team down, and I just told him, you keep your head up and you keep moving forward. Look, we all want it better. We can't go back in that game right now and run it back and play it again. Like, we just learn from it. Like, what do you learn from it? That's my main message to him is, what do you learn from that? And how do you make that a priority and getting it fixed and getting improving and getting better?
That's a leader, man. So, I mean, and that's the logical, rational, not in the moment, bird's eye view answer to his season and who he is. Like, yes, that's the rational answer. I agree. That's not him just blowing smoke. And then, yeah, I was surprised that we had a couple of pundits, Cam Newton, who criticized Stroud going into the game, up here being a voice of reason for him.
Yes, but you have to understand, when you're evaluating a certain player, it's hard to evaluate what you just didn't have. You are already working at an uphill, battle with a sprained ankle and your knee brace scrubbing, and it's raining and drizzling on the slippery slope. It's just tough. When you have Nico Collins that's out, when you're very limited to, the playmakers that's around you, CJ Stroud is still a young player that needs help. He had a lot of help from his defense, and even with the turnovers, he still had opportunities to win this football game. These are times or defining moments in careers that you have to say to yourself going into the offseason, hey, I have to be better.
That's what I said.
Now, understand that I have to be better. D'Amico Ryans and that whole organization also has to get talent equipped enough for him to be better, to not necessarily want to do more, but to have the help to do more.
Facts. Cam Newton being rational. Let's go. Black Lion said CJ and Kaylee need to get in the lab and fix the play calls. They need to shorten the calls, and CJ needs to get out the huddle faster. I agree. So it's tough for us as fans to know who's really at fault, him or them. But they're in this supposedly New England Patriot, Earnhardt, Perkins offense, which is like Bill Walsh, West Coast. And again, it's like the option routes, player empowerment, but they also shorten the verbiage rather than having X flat, Y, Z flag. Like, most NFL offenses like literally tell every player what to do. Z corner, Y post, H shallow, X out, and then also the protection for the O-line and run. It's like this long paragraph. But supposedly in this other offense, it's like, hey, we're running a 22 spot, or just it's basically like, all right, spot means it tells you all the routes. So like the other ones, it's longer, but they do that because if you're just the Z receiver, you wait till they say Z post. Okay, I got a post, but then you're not really tuned in on the rest. But now if hey, the play is called flash. Oh, on flash, I got a corner. He's got a post. It takes more to remember it, but when you get in the game, hey, run flash. Hey, flash, boom, go. Like, yes, like that's what you should be doing. And it doesn't feel like we're doing that. And it feels also like Kaylee is very indecisive, like getting the play in, dude, burning timeouts. We burn so many fucking timeouts and take forever to get the damn play call in. Like, I think there probably is some on Stroud, but like a lot of it's got to be the indecision and then the length of the play call. They need to fix that shit. I agree. And what else did we miss? Who else was on here? Yeah, Aziz is the man. JJ, Justin Words. Did you see that Tank has been tweeting? He's ready to go. Yep. Mixing would be huge. EP concepts, not just routes. Yep, for sure. The concepts. Shout out PG. Hey, G, what up, my guy? What's going on, bro? Yeah, just going back through. I'll get to some more videos and I'll try and get some stats. I know it's getting late, but so yeah, here's a dilemma too. And I know this kind of went viral and people were dogging Stroud for this. And I get, the dogging, but this is Stroud. This kind of comes off as like a weird complaint. It's like it's like a rich person complaining they have too many toys to clean up or something. But basically he's saying like it's tough to go from an offense where he is the playmaker airing it out to now it's like you rein it back in and be conservative, is basically like saying he's struggling with that, which is fine that we're doing it. And it's understandable that it's going to take him time to do it. So this is him talking about that.
I think just the turnovers, like I haven't really been prone to turnovers in my career, especially like, the timely turnovers, where, I've, like I told y'all before.
He was asked where he can get better. So he's talking about the turnovers.
Or
where he improved.
I've been on some great teams my whole career where a lot of them were, offensive driven, and like, playing for Coach Day where, we're taking shots and all these, and then, like being on this team, where, we're more full everywhere, where it's offense, defense, and special teams, but, defense is, is making a bunch of plays. So, this year was a step for me where like I didn't have to be Superman all the time, and I'm still growing in that. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate my teammates for taking a lot of pressure, off of my plate, but also, they.
So people are like, "Oh yeah, you were never Superman," and like he's complaining he has to do less. Like, I mean, I know what y'all are saying, but like, listen to what he's saying.
I do know that I can make those plays, so I'm appreciative of them having that perspective, and I feel like I've grown, in that way of like, taking what's there, in ways where, I would have taken a shot there or just, take care of the ball some other ways. But, I just seen some growth, my footwork, in the pocket, trusting.
And people criticize him for the footwork thing. I get that. I think the footwork hasn't been great.
My guy staying in the pocket, not just running around, but, staying strong and firm. So I think I made a step in that area as well. But, always things to improve, and I'll do that.
And that is true. He has been better at staying in the pocket. And this is another point I've been making about Stroud is, and he will tell you this, and he said it, he is a self-admitted perfectionist. And he's also like from my observation, is like an extreme rule follower. So they're telling him to do these things, get the ball out quick. He's overdoing it. I don't know if anybody here played sports, but like that was my personality. Like you got some players you are told what to do and you are scared to mess it up and you don't want to get in trouble. So you do exactly what you're told to do. I feel like that's how he is. Like, and I feel like he takes pride in like trying to perfect things in that manner. And the staying in the pocket is that they're probably trying to tell him to stay in the pocket. And I feel like he overdid it. He's overdoing it. I felt like he could have escaped the pocket a lot late in the year, and he didn't because he's trying to find this balance of like doing what they say, but then also like just having the feel. So he's used to just doing it freely, but now he's told to do this, and that's what he's saying. Like it's tough to find that balance of like, can I just go out there and ball, or do I have to do what coach says? And you can tell it's not natural to him, and it's going to take time. So I think part of it too is from the OC, like finding, hey, maybe we came in initially and made it too hard and constrained and too prototypical. Like maybe we find a hybrid amount of like giving you more reign. They got to find that right mix is what I think. And I talked about this too. I made a point, like I've had this observation for a while too. Like even on the passes, I feel like he tries to finesse everything. Or you could even say like the word pimp, and I made an example on a tweet. Like if there was a scale of like 0 to 100 on every throw, as far as like how good you could throw that throw based off of, velocity, touch, accuracy, leading the receiver, etc. Like I feel like he tries to throw the perfect ball every time. And it does work occasionally. But to me, it's too much. It's like, and the example is those flat routes. He tries to get in there and he tries to just give you the most catchable ball. Just fucking throw the motherfucker right in the guy's chest, like that needs to be coached and conveyed to him. I think it's fine when it's over the middle, but there's certain touches, like even like the go balls, he's trying to like just fucking just throw it out there, dude. I mean, he's just trying to perfect things. And to me, like the philosophy that the way I would look at that is, yes, that's a good mindset to try and be the best you can. But one, it's near impossible to make it perfect. And then the risk reward, as far as the more hard you try to make it perfect, when you don't, the downside is much greater. Whereas if you just go for the middle and like, yeah, you may hit them here, but you'll hit them here 8 times out of 10 in the chest, or you can try and lead them upfield. But sometimes you may not do it. Or you know what? Sometimes the receiver isn't. There's plenty of times where like the ball looks bad, And I feel like I see him like trying to overthink it. Like he's trying to maximize every play. But like the thing is too, is, the first year you saw with him, like the yards after catch was insane because he throws the ball in the perfect spot. But sometimes if the receiver isn't in the same thing, like sometimes just fucking complete the play. So I think it's like one, knowing when to kind of try to perfect those throws, the down and distance, rhythm of the game. Do we need this? Do we not? Like, okay, you don't have to throw it perfect. You can just throw it right in the chest. He doesn't need yak here. So I think that's part of it. But he was late on his throws in this game. I don't think that's a perpetual problem that's ever been a problem. It was just in this last game. And I don't know if it was because of the game plan, the weather, the grip. I don't think he's perpetually late. And people are saying he can't read a defense. I don't believe that shit at all. I watch all the film. Like I look at the coverage pre-snap. I watch his eyes. Like he makes the fucking right reads like 9 times out of 10. And obviously under pressure, everyone messes up. But another point I haven't gotten to, almost 2 hours in is position coaches. Kaylee's back. You do start to question position coaches. They said there might be changes. Aaron Wilson tweeted there might be changes to position coaches. Gerard Johnson, friend of mine, great guy. I don't know where they're at with that, but they have to question, I guess, potentially if supposedly Stroud is regressing, which they don't think. Well, they look at that, but like for me, it's like more so the receiver coach, like Ben McDaniels. I know they're high on him. He's Josh McDaniels' brother. Was there before. And that's part of it too, is Kaylee comes in, and obviously Kaylee's young, so has not a big network, but he inherited all existing guys. Like he didn't bring in any of his own guys besides Jerry Shaplinski, really, right? So, but to me, like Ben McDaniels, I feel like receivers, downfield blocking, fucking terrible. It's fucking ass, dude. Like we have a lot of red zone issues, but a lot of those could be prevented. You know how you solve red zone issues is you avoid it altogether. When you have a big play and you have a chance to block a guy and go from a 30-yard pass to getting tackled on the 10 to where you block the guy and it's a 40-yard pass, it's a touchdown. You have to make those plays. And we had so many this year where the downfield blocking by receivers just isn't quite good enough, where it goes from only big play as opposed to like touchdown, explosive play. So that's one area. And then we talked about the EP offense we're talking about with S4 Lottie on here. This offense is supposed to be intricate as far as, one basic thing for any offense, but it's also in this offense is, running your route. And if you're running it versus man, you keep running. Let's just say it's a dig. If you have someone following you, you keep running away from the man. But now if it's zone and it's just stationary, when you run, you stop in the grass and you throttle down. And I watched it all year. Like it got better, but like this is basic high school shit to me. And we got like even Nico, because they're probably not used to it. They run the dig and they're just used to running the dig and they don't have a feel for backers and drop zones. And they're running through and Stroud's throwing it here. So it looks like Stroud's terrible. That's one of them. The option routes we're talking about, like you're expecting this guy to break inside and cross face and you throw it here. And the problem is, some of these throws, like one of them to Hutch, like it looks like, in my opinion, a terrible throw to Hutch, but like he doesn't break the right way on these option routes. And, again, this is, the reward is super high when you both execute in the same page. You make the right break as a receiver, quarterback throws in the same spot, boom, big play. But now quarterback sees it right and you don't. He throws it, you expecting you to go there and you're not. It can be catastrophic. So, but I've just noticed that with the receivers. And then you have to question running backs. Like, and I don't call people's jobs. I'm not trying to say fire anybody, but I'm just saying it has to be looked at. And they all seem like great guys. I've seen the interviews and listened to them talk, but Danny Barrett at running back, like I've noticed too with running backs, like they never fucking bounce it outside, dude. Like they always just run it right up the fucking middle. It's like, bro, there's a whole cutback lane right here, like all year. And then I watched the Patriots mic'd up, Ramondre Stevenson on the second drive. They have an inside run. That motherfucker bounces it out for 20-yard gain. Stingley gets stuck inside. He's told to run it here, but you know what? He said, fuck it. I'm going to bounce it out. I'm a playmaker. And then it was coach. Like when he gets to the sideline, the coach is talking to the running back coaches. Hey, great job bouncing that out. Now they will soften the edge because they're worried about it. And now we'll have the inside run lanes. Like, good job. So, like, that was coached. Like, hey, even though it's an inside run, if you see it, bounce it out. And that's where we missed Joe Mixon last year. Like, our running backs this year just ran where they're supposed to, and they didn't really have like the play. And Woody might be the same as Stroud as far as like a rule follower. Maybe he's a rookie and doesn't want to, because they do get on your ass if you don't do what they say. But if you're someone like Mixon who's a veteran, it's proven and like makes it work, and you're supposed to run here and they say fuck it and run there and it works, they don't say shit to you. But like if you're a rookie, it's supposed to go there and you bounce it out, it doesn't work, they're gonna chew your ass out. So that's an element too in Woody's defense, but we don't. And so that's Stroud too. Like Stroud is too much doing what they say. Like take what they say and do it as a guide and try to do it the most you can, but know when you can go out of frame and structure and do what the fuck you want to do. So, but for our running backs, they don't do that. Like we missed the Joe Mixon playmaker. Like just make a fucking play, dude. Here's the call. It may not go how he wanted to. It's supposed to go here, but just make a play. Like we're definitely missing that. So, but yeah, Popovich, the run game coordinator, but I think the running backs, I don't know how much he can tell them to change that. So, but here's CJ Stroud on getting Tank Dell back.
How much are you looking forward to having him back and like just kind of reflecting on everything he's gone through to maybe get to?
I'm getting a lot of takes off today,
Tank
boys.
is, a brother of mine. Somebody who was like blood to me, and to see what he's gone through the last 2 years has been heartbreaking. And he's been through a lot, but I know he's grown a lot as a person and as a young man, especially as a man of God. So I'm proud of him, and just the smile he continues having on his face is contagious. And I just think for him to being here every day, put in the work, and put his best foot forward, in some situations that were out of his control, I think is amazing, to see him do that. So I'm super proud of him, and I can't wait to get him on the field. Like, y'all know the connection we have, and, I know he's getting his number one back, so he's happy about that. And I'm happy for him to get Uno back. So, we're going to be coming back trim, and I can't wait to get my brother back on the field. And I think, our connection, hopefully our chemistry pick right back up where we left off.
Who knows? Maybe it's all he needs is Tank back. But yeah, Hennessy Black says, a coach once told me there are two types of players you never want. The ones that never do what you say and the ones that only do what you say. So it's like kind of like a funny quote, but it's also like you almost need both. You almost need the mix. And that's basically what I was saying. That's a great quote. I hear you, see Willie G, and I get the criticisms. And Ryan Clark came to CJ's defense, and then let's see. But yeah, here was D'Amico when asked about Kaylee.
You made the tough decision to move on from Bobby and make Nick OC. Are you confident in Nick getting better, and will he have that opportunity?
Yeah, with the coaching staff, with our players, you guys asking about contracts, coaches, play. Like I'm evaluating everything as we go throughout the week.
You made the tough decision to.
Yeah, so I heard that. I'm like, oh shit! But then Nick comes out and says he's good. And then, yeah, here's CJ talking about, how criticism could potentially affect his mindset this offseason.
I wouldn't say it'll make me have a different mindset, but it'll just make my mindset I do have even more tenacious and focused and, just my vision to be, clear. And I think, my dad used to always tell me growing up, like when bad things just happen in sports or whatever it was, like injury or whatever, he'd always say, just add fuel to the fire. And so I'm going to take that mindset of just like whatever is, going to happen in this off season or, in what people are saying, whatever, I just add fuel to the fire, makes the story a little sweeter, and I just, I'm excited to see where my career goes and, my play. And I know this ain't the end of CJ Stroud, this ain't the end of my career. This, like I said, the sun came up this morning. I got a lot more ball to play left, and I'm excited to do that. So, I'm just, add fuel to the fire and, just continue to be motivated. And, this ain't gonna be the last time people gonna count me out or count me in. And so it's all about, how God views me, how my teammates, my family, my friends, and how I view myself. And I'm gonna continue to do that.
Yeah, so it's a good answer for me right there. And then D'Amico, when he talked to CJ on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I talked with CJ I talked with CJ today, and my message is the same. Right now, it's just about him just flushing this one. Right, it's going to be a lot of negative talk, a lot of attention on him. I just say can't listen to it all. Right? You just got to get back to work in the off season of going back to the basics, the fundamentals of playing the quarterback position, playing it really well, understanding how we need to play the game to win the game, right? And he understands that already.
Yeah, I need to watch that video on the EP system, but obviously, you know, they're running that with McDaniels and with May, right? I wonder if, you know, if May is getting a water, you wonder too, like how intense each one is. That's true. But yeah, we're almost done on some videos here. Let's see. Hey, if y'all didn't see this was hilarious. And it's a shame that they lost because this was awesome. This is Dan Grisano pregame.
I mean, I had a chance to talk to linebacker Azeez Al-Shire, and I asked him, I said, what's the mindset of a defense when you have to run right back onto the field after a turnover, defend a short field after you just got to stop? And he said, my mindset is it doesn't even matter. And he said, these are his words, Amina, not mine. He said, we have a thing called White Boy Wednesdays in the weight room where they play the rock music.
Today's Wednesday.
White Boy Wednesday. He said, there's this one song. And he said, I don't even know the song, but I know the part where it goes, in the end, it doesn't even matter. And he said, that's my mindset. He said, I was singing those lyrics running out onto the field because I believe that no matter what situation we're in as a defense, we can get through it. We can get out of it. Now, as a card-carrying white boy myself, I know that song is In the End by Linkin Park. But Azeez doesn't. He doesn't care. He said, the sky's the limit for this defense. He said, you look at a defense that gives up 6 points, that scores twice, that gives up 175 yards, and we watch the film and we go, we could have been even better. We left this play out there. We left that play out there. We could have given up 0 points. The Texans feel that good about their defense no matter who they're playing.
And they did just that.
Snow today. They're not going to have Nico Collins.
Which is crazy. I mean, the defense was awesome after turnovers. I also did not see this coming. So Aqib Talib, who's like been hating on the Texans, he came to CJ Stroud's defense.
It's just he been shaky since his rookie year. Yep. And like I said, you have a Super Bowl caliber defense, and it just went to waste.
Yep. Yeah, it really went to waste because you still got him. You know what I'm saying? We talking about CJ like he's in year 6 or 7 or 8. Like this CJ third year, and he 3-3 in the playoffs. Yeah. Like it's a lot of quarterbacks can't say that. You know what I'm saying? He get to the playoffs the year y'all talking about he balled, he did all this. He was 1-1. Yeah. The next year he was 1-1. Mm-hmm. This year he was 1-1. All right. He had a rough ass 2 games with a whole lot of turnovers. Defense kind of stood up for him.
A rough season.
That's football. Or the rough season. Yeah.
Played good all season.
A rough season.
I mean, he ain't looked good all season, but they won 11 straight games.
They did.
And they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
So he had to do something. You know what I'm saying? He did something.
12 games.
They won 11, 12 straight games, and we won the playoff game. He don't get no credit for none of that. That's all defense, right? They won the game
Davis
0.5 to 0.
Yeah, 4.
Davis Mills won 4 of those.
They bitch to have him be a game manager, and then if he wins, he's just a game manager. It's always, man, it's crazy.
Mills won 4. Who won the other 7? Who won the other 7 of these games?
8.
Was it not CJ?
Like, bro, quarterback.
Bro, we talking about a year 3 guy who 3-3 in the playoffs. If we told you right when we drafted CJ, all right, look, his first year he gonna dominate. Then over the course of the next 3 years, he'll be 3-3 in the playoffs. You want him? You would say no? You would say no, Skip?
I want it.
You would say no? Well, I don't want no quarterback who's gonna be 3-3.
No, I want him.
Everybody would say hell yeah, and hopefully all them 3 wins come in 1 year and we got a bowl.
I mean, Lamar Jackson's 3-4 in the playoffs. He also had a rough year. We're not tearing him down.
8. He 3-4.
Really?
This man in year 3.
He had a rough year too this year.
This man in year 3, bro, and he 3-3 in the playoffs. And we
Lamar and CJ. All right.
Lamar's had badass defenses too until this year. I mean, no one talks about that shit.
I'm not going to say I'm concerned.
Y'all looking at the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm concerned about CJ just with the late season collapse and how things weren't looking good, and honestly how he looked like a shell of himself after a couple of those turnovers.
It's up here.
It's up here.
Yeah, I think he lost it.
I think what you could do. But listen, but stay with me. I think what you could do is you can upgrade that offensive line. They got to spend some money on that offensive line.
They were down 2 starters yesterday.
They're down 2 starters, and they're not very good to begin with.
They weren't.
They have these giant guys up front that can't move, can't get in front of people. When you have a tackle that's 6'8", 370 pounds, you have Titus Howard, who's an outside tackle. He's playing guard. You got these big bodies, and they played better as the season went on. But they are one of the reasons why CJ is definitely taking a step back. They need to invest and some studs up front. I'm talking draft picks. I'm talking money in free agency.
All right.
Well, okay, you brought up a good point. Oh, go
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Rich Incognito speaking facts too. We'll get to a couple more. I think we'll call it here in a bit. Hopefully y'all are still awake. But yeah, here's Will talking about the contract.
Yeah, most definitely. Of course, I want to be here my whole career. I love the Texans. I love everything about them. You know, they traded up and got me, man. But, you know, I don't really like to speak on all these things. But, of course, I would love to be here, man. And if it's in God's will to happen, it will happen. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, we'll get you here. We'll keep going. Let's keep scrolling. Probably a couple more. Here was CJ on Nick Caley.
You know, one of the biggest games of my career, you know, and I didn't have the best day, but I could look back at other games of my career where I did show up, and I know that I had more of those than I had yesterday. So,
Thanks.
you know, I'm gonna look forward to the next opportunity I get.
CJ, working those opportunities being with Nick Caley, do you feel like y'all can build on something Nick Caley?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I love Kels. You know, I think, you know, there's growth, and, you know, in our relationship, there's growth, and, you know, his ability to call plays, growth, and, you know, D'Amico trusted him. So, you know, whatever, you know, our coaches decide, you know, and you know, I love Kels, and I'm rocking with him, you know, however long he's going to be here.
That's crazy. Whatever our coaches decide, however long he's going to be here. So you see that, you see D'Amico, you're like, man, is he going to get fired? I guess they just say it generically, but I think Casero today says he ain't going nowhere pretty much. And then, yeah, so here's D'Amico on Mixon.
Having him maybe kind of hurt the offense, particularly at the beginning.
Look, when you have your best players, you're gonna be a better team. Like Joe was he's a really great running back for us, and not having him, yes, of course it affected our running game. And Joe is one of the top running backs in this league, so you know that affected us.
Do you expect a future with Joe here?
As of right now, I don't know the answer right now.
Damn.
Do you have any clarity on what is wrong with him and what it would take this offseason?
No clarity.
What about
Why does he get so mad, bro? Come on,
having
dude.
him?
Gotcha edits on IG. I'm all on Stroud, bro. You can if you haven't, you can listen back to this on Apple or Spotify. It's called Second Guessing with Stressing, but I went on a couple rants on that to kind of explain my positioning. So talked about this earlier, fifth-year option. Here's Schefter. Like, the Texans are going to get the fifth-year option. It makes total sense.
Dan, you said, what do they do next at the quarterback position, right? So here's the deal. We already know the Panthers are picking up the fifth-year option for the number one pick in that draft, Bryce Young. I don't think there's any way the Texans don't pick up the fifth-year option.
Yeah, I agree.
For C.J. Stroud. They're going to pick it up. Now the question is, do they, and you're going to balk when I say, do they extend him or do they let him play it out? How do they handle it? Do they feel confident in Davis Mills, who went unbeaten in his 3 starts this year? Davis Mills was 3-0. They signed him to a 2-year extension during the season. I think they probably think they're going to be okay with C.J. Stroud and Davis Mills.
I think Bryce Young gets extended, and I think Stroud gets extended. I mean, the other part of that too is you spend a first overall pick and a second overall pick. So you spent this capital on this player, and you want to keep them as long as you can. You don't want to spend it and then just turn them loose because of one bad game. Yeah, here's Drake May after the game. This kind of points to the weather element.
Whether that like enabled you to do that throughout the game, I mean, things seem to be better after that.
Yeah, I think when the snowflakes, stop, I think it's a little easier to throw the football. You got a little better grip, but really, I think I think CJ would probably say the same. We both had some throws that was tough. It was tough to get grip on it. I think.
Yeah, no one asked Stroud about the grip and the weather, and I'm mad about that. Like, not that just to get it out there, but then Drake talks about it.
It's tough in warm-ups because you kind of get a feel where the ball doesn't touch the ground, and the guys are just passing it around with each other and pause. But
passing around each other, pause.
I think the biggest thing is you'll get back there with the snow and just having a good grip on it and letting it rip. But I think, like I said, the weather is no excuse, but there's definitely times where the ball rolls around on the ground with the center before the snap and it gets a little wet. So it's definitely it was tough, but I feel like we made enough throws. So
that's like, he makes a great point. Like, you warm up, the ball's dry, but like in the game, the ball hits the ground, it gets wet, the center moves it, now you catch it, like, oh fuck, the ball's wet. Like, how do you not practice with the wet ball during the week to prepare for that? Like, that's what's fucking crazy to me. How do you not try a glove or this or that? Or like, have your center have a towel to wipe it off, like whatever's allowed, like, and I'll show too, like the Patriots were aware of that. Like Vrabel's like wiping guys' gloves off on the sideline with a towel. Like we're just fucking like, yeah, snow doesn't matter, whatever. Here's Stroud on his contract extension when asked about it.
I did what I did on the field, the last 3 years, and I thought I started off my career in a very great way. I'm 24, got a lot of ball left ahead of me, and I think I look back, I look at my career, and I'm doing a lot of things that early in my career that a lot of people haven't done in a long time. So like,
facts.
I'm grateful for that, and I know it's not just me; it's my teammates, it's my coaches, it's the organization. So, but whatever God has for me, I don't think whatever open door He has, no man can close. Whatever closed door He has for me, no man can open. So I'm a firm believer in that, and I'm gonna just rock with that. But my job is done now in that light. I can only just move forward, and but I want to be here as long as I can. I love the city of Houston. I'm just I'm crushed, and I don't want to be emotional, but just like just how hopeful we were, to go farther, and for it to be on my plate, for me not to step up, it really hurts me, and I just
and people are still over here like burning his jerseys and shit and trying to get him out of town. Like, come on, man, like you don't care and this and that. Like, this is such a good dude, and like he's getting treated like fucking shit, bro.
I wish it didn't go that way, but my intent was never that. My intent is always, to go out on ball and, play as best as I can, and it didn't happen. But, I know that I can do that. So I just hope, this city and this organization and my teammates, and I know my teammates will, but I hope, everybody gives me a shot to do it again.
We'll give you a shot, man. You're good. He's got the right mental makeup. So, yeah, there was a graph about like stunt usage. The Patriots ran stunts more than any team in the playoffs this last weekend, 40%, and they killed us on stunts. That's basically what happened. So, yeah, and this is from the mic up from the Patriots. This is the defensive back coach.
They keep throwing the ball. They keep throwing the ball.
It's like he's almost shocked and letting them know, like, they just keep throwing the ball. This is early in the game. Like, they're just throwing the ball. Like, yeah, they're fucking idiots. Get ready for the pass. Why are you passing in the fucking blizzard, dude? Blows my mind. Oh, gosh. All right. We're almost done on some clips. Here is Stroud on this is pretty interesting. Urgency and play call. So this touches on the point about getting in and out of the huddle.
There's a lot of things that can be fixed. I think that's an area that, we tried our best. I think when, you have injuries, you have, different things, and then you have a new system, you're still trying to find your identity throughout the year. So like what we were running in the playoffs wasn't what we were running in week 1. It's a whole different offense
so that means, and people see that and like, oh, that's dumb. Like, no, that means we're adapting and evolving. We're not just running the same fucking shit all year, which is what Slowick did. So that's a good thing.
It just changes, but like hopefully around that week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8 period, you start to find that identity. I think we did that. But yeah, I think those things need to be fixed, and they'll be addressed. And it's not just on Kels. So I want to snip that in the bud right now. It's on me as well. It's on, our everybody. It's not just me and him. It's everybody. But it starts with me, and then it goes to him. It starts with everybody. So it starts with us too. So I'm not going to just put it on him, or I don't want everybody just to put it. I'll raise my hand and say me. So those things will be fixed. And we'll be able to be better from that.
And so, like, I'm pretty sure that was like getting to the line of scrimmage late and in and out of the huddle. And speculation on my end, but him voluntarily off the bat saying that's not Kale's fault. Like, I think to me, it's like subconsciously is like it's fucking Kale's fault. Like, that's just me thinking like that's what it sounds like. You take forever to get the play in. Maybe he'll get him to concise it, but that's probably, it could be wrong, but like that's the vibe I got is like he said this, and it's like it sounds like Kaylee's kind of taking forever to get the plays in. And then, so this was what I was talking about earlier, Stevenson having the run and the coach telling him about it.
Now it's going to be set up because we went outside. Now they're going to play hard out there. We'll have lanes inside. Yep. Good job. And at the end of the deal, turn it to us. At the end of these runs, turn it finish.
Yeah. Well, I felt like I had the angle, though. I was like, hold on.
Yeah, I thought you might be, hit it. That's run. Just run.
Yeah. But I always use my stiff arm on the sideline, but I thought I had him, bro.
That's coaching, man. Like they told him, hey, yeah, good job bouncing it outside. Now they have to respect that. Now we can run it inside. We didn't do that shit all game. And then here's a video of Mike Vrabel late in the game when they're burning clock, running the ball. He finds Ramondre Stevenson on the sidelines, checks his gloves, grabs a towel, and wipes off his gloves for him so he won't fumble.
Big dog. Get ready to go. Yeah. That's big dog. Yeah. Keep going. Come on. We built for this, y'all. Come on.
I mean, and we're over here saying,
that's big dog.
oh, it's going to snow, whatever. If it snows, it snows. Like, it fucking matters, dude. Like, I really hope they learn their lesson on that shit. Like, that might have single-handedly been a factor to cost us the game, is our negligence to trying to prepare for the weather as opposed to them. Vrabel played in New England. It's New England. They probably knew what it's all about. Like, S4 Lottie says, Belichick used to soap up balls, pause for Pats for practice elements. LOL. Yeah, I mean, we should have been working practice with wet balls, pause. Instead, we're like, yeah, it may so, may not. We don't give a fuck. We'll just show up and play. We're macho. Like, no, dude, golly. Yeah, okay. Going through. Sorry for cussing. Like, once I started, just floodgates kind of open. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's many people that don't like it. It's a bad look, but I'm sorry. Here's today, Nick Casario on Joe Mixon.
Okay, so as it pertains to Joe, here's what I would say. It was a very unique situation. I don't think anybody really had any clarity, honestly, from the start of the year until now. I'd say Joe worked very, very hard to try to get himself ready to play football. It just never manifested itself and came to fruition. So probably have an opportunity to kind of see where he is in the offseason relative to, and we'll kind of see what the status is moving forward.
Do you want to have him back if you can?
Yeah, I mean, he's under contract, so we'll evaluate his situation, and then, we'll see where it goes from there.
The under contract, it's like, all right, if he's healthy, he's going to play. And then here is Casario on Tank Dell.
And Tank, I think D'Amico got asked about him the other day. I mean, Tank's doing awesome. He's been in the building every day. I mean, matter of fact, he's here today. He's got a great attitude. We would anticipate him being ready for the start of the offseason program. So he's a great spirits, got a great attitude. Good player. So, I'm sure he's excited. He can't wait to get started. Saw him yesterday and he had a big smile on his face, like basically like, all right, now it's time, now because we're focused on 2026. So I'm sure I was going to get asked about him. So I figured I would just, address those couple, I would say, injury, situations.
Thank you for doing that.
Tank.
Welcome back, Tank. And then here is Nick Casserole, with some more updates on Joe Mixon. Great follow-up question by Aaron Wilson.
You guys don't want to disclose it. Is there a reason why we can't just have what happened?
Yeah, no, I would say he didn't do anything off the field. It wasn't like he was riding like a snowmobile or anything like that. I'd say it was just more of a medical condition or situation that just it really didn't improve maybe as much as everybody would have hoped. I mean, I'm not trying to evade the question. I think that's the reality of the situation. So he didn't jump off a building, he wasn't cliff diving or anything like that. He wasn't doing anything irresponsible. It was a freak thing. Honestly, I've never seen it. Just the condition.
Hope that situation will improve before next summer.
We'll see. I mean, believe me, I'm not smart enough to be a doctor. So, I'll leave that up to the medical experts. And, once we, going back to some of the earlier questions, we get a little bit more clarity, more information, then we'll kind of see where we are moving forward.
I know people are speculating about getting shot in the foot. What I think happened is I think he had an elective surgery to repair his ankle, like a tightrope surgery, because he had the multiple high ankle sprains. And that is an NFI non-football injury because he's having a surgery after the fact outside the facility. And I think either something went wrong with that surgery or after that surgery, he was working out and hurt a different part of his body, that foot or another foot, because when you do get hurt, you overcompensate with another one. And then I think there was a botched surgery somewhere along the lines in infection, blood flow, nerves, something like that. That's what I suspect. I don't think it's because him saying it wasn't him being negligent or whatever. That's what I think happened. I mean, maybe it was something crazy, but I'm not going to say he got shot in the foot just because I saw some guy make a freaking video. But we don't know. I'm sure we'll find out at some point. But I think it's some kind of nerves got messed up, blood flow. Who knows? I mean, I'm speculating, but that would be a logical, rational guess in my opinion. So, and this was pretty good. Jonathan Alexander asking Casario about the personnel and offense.
Do you feel like you all did enough from a
personnel-wise to help the offense grow in the way it needed to grow? Or do you think probably some of the unexpected injuries like Joe Mixon's injury probably stalled that?
I mean, I'm not really sure the question. I'd say we had one of the best teams in the league. So, I mean, we went out there and competed with every team in the league that we played. So, I mean, I'm not sure like what the question is.
I could specify,
So all press conference, he's been chill. Like normally in these press conferences, especially like after the draft last year, which is different, very defensive. He's been chill the whole time, and you can see he's defensive now. He's getting tense. He's kind of doing these little shoulder shrugs. This is good by Jonathan. Jonathan kept us cool. He's like, I'm just asking you a legit question, dude.
Offense, according to their statistics, didn't take a huge jump offensively. And I'm wondering.
The most important statistic is winning games. So that's what we're focused on.
100%, but you lost in the divisional round again.
Owned. Casario's getting all like, yeah, we got to win. He's like, yeah, but you lost in the divisional round. Like, is your goal not to get past that? That's like good professional, not being disrespectful, but like checking you like, all right, bro, chill out. That was awesome by Jonathan.
You ultimately want to get farther.
He's like, all right.
You feel like you could have done more.
Got fucking owned, bro.
Point. Or were there circumstances that you felt were out of control?
We had a good enough team to win any game we played. In the end, we didn't execute well enough. You can't turn the ball over 5 times.
That is true.
Playoff round. I mean, taking care of the football is this single most important stat correlated to winning.
Yeah, we're
aware. Look it up. It's the truth.
You also had them turn over 3 times, and you played in a fucking blizzard. And Stroud played like ass, but a lot of it is the fucking game plan by the coordinator to pass the fucking ball in your shitty ass interior offensive line that got blown back, that caused a lot of the pressures that went into picks, and also the fact that they got blown back and there was no run game because you neglected to address the interior O-line. Instead of acknowledging or even just saying, hey, you might be right there, you're defensive as fuck and saying, and you're blaming it all on your quarterback right here.
If you don't turn the ball over, you enhance your chances of winning. It's 85, 90%. I mean, so that's the most important stat. Turnovers, taking care of the football, like look around the league.
Addressing needs, which you don't believe in, which is in the interior fucking offensive line.
So in the end, we had a good enough team to beat anybody. We played with every team in the league. There's more room in front of us. And in the end, if we execute better, we'll still be playing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but that's the truth.
I don't like that version of him. Like, come on, bro. Like, I get it. I get defensive. I'm probably acting like a jackass right now in response to this, but I can't imagine if I was on the podium. And I love Nick. I'm not trying to be whatever, but like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, he had a great press conference. I thought him and D'Amico were very copacetic, chill, much more than normal, especially given that they just came off a loss. But then this one here, I'm like, all right, bro, chill the fuck out. But yeah, so I mean, y'all kind of see what I'm saying here. Yep. S4 Lottie's making good points about the head coach. Jonathan saw that question in there because they're deflecting, didn't have a good run game. Yeah, dude. I mean, fucking chill out, Casario, casserole. And so, yeah, all this stuff about Kaylee, and now here is Casario.
Validated in that decision, and is Nick Kaylee, are you comfortable in saying he's going to be calling plays in 2026?
Yeah, I would anticipate Nick being here next year. I think Nick learned a lot, first opportunity as a play caller. I'd say offensively, probably the last 2 to 3 months of the year, played pretty good football and did a lot of good things. So there was growth and improvement. There's always areas that we can improve and get better. And that's what, D'Amico mentioned the other day, next couple of weeks right after the season, is kind of looking at everything, go through, the coaching staff, go through other aspects of the staff. Is there anything that we have to do? All right, then we'll look at some things schematically, start to go through the self-scout.
Got a couple extras of these on your giveaway.
What are some of the things that we do well? It's interesting. D'Amico started this when he got here. So the other side of the ball basically goes through and watches the respective sides. So like the defensive coaches will basically go through and watch the entire offensive season. Offensive coaches will watch the defense. And it's basically just for observations. Hey, through that lens, what do you see? Hey, what are some of the things that we did well? What are some of the things that cause problems? What are some of the things, this, maybe a little bit less of this, whether it's schematically, whether it's personnel-wise. And there's good communication. I think it's a great exercise. We didn't do anything like that in New England, but I think there's some teams that do that. So what we're trying to do is say, hey, We know kind of where we are as a team. And I think sometimes when you're working on one side of the ball, you maybe see it through one lens. Sometimes when you're on the opposite side of the ball, you see it through a different lens. And I'd say the rapport amongst the staff's really good. So we can communicate honestly and openly with each other. So it says a lot. And honestly, it speaks to who D'Amico is. So that's what we're going through right now. So I would anticipate Nick being here, next year. And all of us are just trying to improve and do what we can to make the team and the organization better.
See, I thought that was good. Normally, he would be like pissed off, like, "Why are you thinking that we're going to fire him?" Like he would have been upset. But that was a good, respectable answer, and I like that he shared that they just do self scout on each side. It's a cool process. So, hey, who would have thought another surprising voice of reason, Taylor Lewan, former Titan.
Because when your team gives you lemons, you make Jim Beam and lemonade. Listen, if you're a Houston Texans fan out there, and I know I'm a Titans guy speaking to you right now, look at your defense. All your pieces are still there for the next year. Daniel Hunter, Will Anderson, Stingley in the back. It can be difficult when you look on the offensive side of the ball. CJ Stroud has 6 interceptions or 6 turnovers and 6 quarters at one point
5
in the last 2
fumbles,
games.
4 interceptions.
And your heart is probably hurting being like, is CJ Stroud the guy, right? CJ Stroud is a true competitor.
Facts.
I hate to say it. He did a great job when he was at Ohio State. True competitor. He is now going to the offseason with the kill everybody mentality.
Yes, sir.
He's going to go into that thing of people don't believe in me. The fans don't. The coaching staff doesn't. The players don't. And next year with a pissed off CJ Stroud, sky's the limit.
Let's go. And a better offense, coordinating, play calling. And then, I pointed this clip out. This is a reminder, come draft. They're just going to draft guys that fit the mentality. And then free agency, they'll probably fill needs if they do need
upgrade that. The draft is kind of its own entity. I think our philosophy on the draft is just get good football players in here with the right mentality and the right mindset, regardless of the position that they play. That's how, we approach it philosophically. That's what D'Amico and I believe in. And that's kind of how we'll go about it. But yeah, you have to take inventory of what do you have, opportunity to upgrade that.
I think we're getting close to the end. Here's Caserio on the Texans wide receiver core.
Yeah, 2 really good players. Excited about their future. I think Higgs showed he's got a chance to be a really good player. He's as productive as any of our, offensive skill players over the last kind of, month or 2 of the season. Jay Knoll, show what he can do in a return game. Probably get some more opportunities here offensively, but 2 good football players. That receiver room, if you didn't do anything, which, I'm not saying like we will or won't, but if you didn't do anything, it's a pretty good room. Hig, Knoll, Nico.
Pretty good room.
Hutch, nobody talks about Hutch, but nobody's improved more from the time he was drafted to where he is now. He's become one of our most dependable players. Talked about Tank here a little bit. Justin Watson's under contract. Kirk's a free agent. We'll see how that goes. Barrios is a free agent, but it's a pretty good room. So I feel like, we can go out there and play good football with that group. But great kids, great attitude, good teammates, selfless, no ego. Just go out there and work and do their job.
I agree, Amanda. Jawar Jordan was so underrated. I think we did miss Jawar Jordan in that game because he would have been an outside run threat for us if we would have freaking played him.
And I think Jay Knoll kind of showed his kind of versatility, punt returner.
Oh, and she says he would have made a game that last game and win with yards. He could have made a difference. I agree.
Kickoff returner. And when he played offensively.
I should watch the recent video with Sean Salisbury and Coach JB on CJ. Is it Coach JB just like talking about CJ being soft? I would assume that's what it was, but let me know. Give me a glimpse on what it is.
He made a lot of
points. I know how Coach JB is. It's crazy.
I'm sure we're going to see more Jay Knoll next year.
Hopefully we see more Jay Knoll. We heard it there from the horse's mouth. So that Bills situation of the Bills owner throwing Sean McDermott on the bus about Keon Coleman, who's currently on your roster, is crazy. Here's Caserio on the O-line. We're almost done, Phil. I know it's a lot of Caserio talk to end.
Competitive group. We felt that it would be improved. In the end, we end up with like one player that started who had, I know Titus played multiple positions, but Titus was really the only player. The rest of the offensive line was a number of new players or changing spots. Overall, I'd say that group certainly improved. I think Cole did a phenomenal job with that group, him and Coach Yenzer. And we ended up kind of like we talked about a little bit earlier, using everybody. and eventually it kind of settled down once Tay was able to kind of settle in at left tackle. Tay played really good football. I'd say he made some young football player mistakes, and there's some things technique-wise that he can certainly improve. We felt once Trent got healthy that Trent would go out there and play pretty good football, and he did. I'd say, Jake Andrews gave us a good level of play. He probably played honestly hurt, probably played on one leg for about half the year. It kind of speaks to his toughness.
Interesting.
And then Ed had a good year. He probably had his best year. He's a free agent.
Yep.
Kind of have to see how that goes. So, overall, it's certainly improved. There's always things that we can do better, but we got contributions from everybody. Blake had to go out there and start against the Chargers, played pretty good football. J-Pat, we've always kind of viewed him as a swing guy, kind of inside, sort of that 6th, 7th offensive lineman. That's kind of the role that he had. So we have some players who will be free agents in that group. We have some players under contract for next year. I'm sure there'll be some different players in that group next year, but we also have some guys that, under contract that are coming back. So, looking forward to kind of putting that group together. But, overall, they were improved. I think the pass protection certainly was improved relative to last season. So there's always a combination of factors involved. It's personnel, it's scheme. There's a lot of different things. It's not one particular thing. But overall, that group played, pretty competitive football, from start to finish.
JB, okay, I need to check that out. That's good to hear. I just thought he might have been crazy. He's talking about Avery Johnson connected with Mulligata. CJ goes as 3D QB for his personal coach. Official 251 says he actually suggested coaching CJ in the offseason and talked about how CJ's coach outside the league is a bum. Crazy. He wants to correct his mechanics. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely I'll check that out. That's crazy. I thought he might have been I just know how the JB guy is. He's kind of a brash guy, but I figured he was criticizing him for his mannerisms or something, that's good to know. That's cool. That's good to see. I'll listen to that. This was pretty funny, having some fun. Casario on what he wants to pick up as a hobby this year.
But if you're asking me what I'm going to do kind of with my free time, I'm actually going to try to teach myself and learn a little bit more about AI.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I think there's some relevance to what we're doing. Maybe there's an application or an area that we can utilize it. And as you look kind of at the future moving.
Hey, Chat GPT, how should I correct my team? Nick, you should start with the worst part of your team. What is it? Interior line. Okay. Draft interior line and sign them in free agency. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Hopefully he uses AI to use deductive, simple, logical reasoning.
Forward, that's probably going to be a tool that's going to be available for our kids, my kids, and they're having some awareness and understanding. So it's just maybe kind of shifting focus and allocating time to maybe an area you don't have as much time on during the season. Because
was that funny, your boy Fats on IG? Thanks for the laugh. Somebody laughed. Thank you.
You're so hyper focused on the opponent, so it's just trying to find some different outlets. So it's probably not the answer everybody wants to hear. But
no, but could AI help evaluate a certain position and these factors go in and everything that has in common with everything that's already happened? And I know you guys do that on your own, but maybe that could do it as well.
I think it's probably can enable you to do is streamline some of your processes and kind of get you to an endpoint a little bit quicker, because really it's a product. These are language models. It's all about data inputs. You can get to a solution maybe a little bit quicker, or at least guide you and lead you in a direction, maybe force you to think about something you weren't thinking about, and then go back, kind of do your work and kind of check yourself. So again, how you interweave it into some of the things that you're doing is probably.
But that is true. I use it for a lot of different stuff, and I think the best thing about it is it can give you inspiration and ideas to start thinking a certain direction. But we'll have to call him Chat GMPT. But been holding on to that one for a while. I think we're almost done. Almost done. More Casario, man. This guy is just so many clips of Casario today. He had a 40-minute press conference today. Love it or hate it, I appreciate the availability. Here's about the extension for Stroud.
All part of it.
Yeah, look, if we want to go game by game, we don't win a Kansas City game without CJ Stroud. So again, that's one.
Pretty funny,
right?
Corey J. Block on IG.
He'll be the first to tell you he didn't play well on Sunday. All right, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he played well either. He knows that. So in the end, all right, you got to learn from it. What can we do better? All right, and then we're moving forward. All right, so you look at his body of work. This guy's been a damn good quarterback.
Damn, I almost broke my chair.
3 years. I mean,
Well, time to go to bed. Damn. Fuck.
Again, you wanted to look at everything in totality, and then every player will look at their situation, and it's always case by case. So.
Thank you, Amanda the Sun Devil. I am on all platforms. I respond more to comments on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, because I go on the main feed. But yeah, just follow me on all platforms. I'm either at Texans Commenter, which is on there, or Houston Stressens. Got a website, houstonstressens.com. And then I also upload this. I've been live for 2.5 hours. So this whole episode will get you caught up from everything you need to know from the Patriots game. And I could honestly go more and dive into stats, but I'm going to go to bed here. But everything you need to go, like I'd like to kind of, my idea with this is I only get to do it once a week. So I kind of go long form. And my idea with this like show and then uploading the podcast is you can listen to it long form at work, yard work, whatever, and get everything you need to know to get up to date and get my crazy profanity laced takes. So I appreciate the follow there. Fanny Lucky's on IG. But yeah, so I think I'll probably go live next week. I'll do like maybe a look ahead into the offseason. So shout out my guy Jerome, asked about thoughts for RB draft class. I'll be honest, man, I haven't looked at like anything. I've been so fucking locked in on the season. I was so locked in on trying to go to the Super Bowl, even though I have no bearing on that. But you know, I'll use that same energy I've used on the Texans team and games, and I'll now dive into prospects. And you know, I think this year what I'll do is, in years past, as I've said, this is what I think we will and should do. But I'm learning that Caserio doesn't do things the way that I think we should do, which my opinion's whatever. But I'll start to do things on like what my approach and then what I think his approach will be. But regardless, yeah, we'll dive into all that. I appreciate all you guys. Yeah, you're the man, Jerome. But yeah, I definitely want to get a running back. I don't know if Mixon will be back, but we need a game-changing running back. But love all you guys. And until next time, we bless them.